Davy Dawson, a guy that can do it all. Last year against the Cardinals, he had 125 yards rushing and only 8 carries. On the year, he had nearly 1,200 yards, the 3rd highest single season total. And you're looking at number 18, Tom Carrazos, 6'2", 180-pound sophomore out of Great Falls, Montana. He talks to Paul Roach, and he brings in the first play of the game for the Cowboys. And here's the way the starting lineup in the backfield. Carrazos, Dwayne Jones, Davy Dawson, Melvin Wells, Gilmore, and Wood, the receivers. That's the offensive line. And a couple of changes there this year. So Coach Roach will be looking at that very carefully. So that's the starting lineup. We had a penalty marker that will change things drastically. And Dave, a good return by Davy Dawson. I know you just made the trip back up from the locker room, so instead of being at the 33, the Cowboys on the major penalty are moved all the way back inside the 10.
Had to do an end around for a moment. Let's set this up with the I-back formation. Dawson gets the handoff following the fullback, and he gets nothing. Excellent defensive front 4 action that time by the Louisville Cardinals as this game is underway. I missed the kickoff. That must have been exciting, Donnie.
It was. Davy Dawson brought it back across the 33. Almost broke it all the way, but then a clipping penalty brought it back. And as a result, you look at the Cardinal defensive line, a very, very good one. But the Cowboys backed up, and now that Cardinal defense, as you look at the linebackers and the secondary, with a chance to really keep the Cowboys pinned back deep in their own territory.
Gain of 1, they give him, fakes the handoff. Rolling back near the goal line, fires over the middle. Excellent defensive play, and it's intercepted by Louisville. Back down to the 6-yard line. Knocked away by the linebacker on the coverage, and Mike Flores, the defensive end, comes down with the football, and it is Cardinal football, 1st and 10.
Penalty marker is down, but let's watch it. Carrazos, little sprint action to the right side, looked across the middle, good coverage. It's tipped there by Mark Sander, and a heads-up play. They run drills like that all the time. And Flores gets the interception and returns it, and the penalty marker is against the Wyoming Cowboys. So the Cardinals get a big opportunity here, Dave, as we look from a different angle. Watch the tip, though. Great defense by Sander to tip the ball, and that heads-up play by Mike Flores, and the Cardinal offense gets a big break for Browning Nagel very early.
The ball is spotted inside the 5 after the penalty against Wyoming. So it is 1st and goal for the Louisville Cardinals. First time they've touched the football this season at the 4-yard line of the Cowboys. Gardner, the fullback. Where's the tailback? Where shifts over to the left side. Offensive line is in tight. And we have a whistle and an apparent delay of game against Louisville.
Not a great surprise, although that's certainly something you don't want to have happen here when you get the ball inside the 5, and now it's going to be 1st and goal again. But Dave, they'll move it back to the 9. And I think that's the result of having an inexperienced quarterback in there. You got to get him in. You got the 25 seconds to get the play off, and the Cardinals just didn't get it done.
Broomfield far to the right side. Cummings comes to the near side as you look at the defensive backfield for Wyoming. Nagel makes the call. Handoff. That's Carwell Gardner, the big 230-pound fullback, and he carries a couple of Cowboys with him down to close to the 5-yard line.
Gardner, of course, the transfer from the University of Kentucky, your big number 31. Let's watch the offensive line. Big number 77 is Jerry Crafts, and you can see him pushing his way off to the left side. Matter of fact, we did want to make a number change. Crafts is wearing number 72 instead of 77.
Excellent driving power displayed there by Carwell Gardner. Nagel back to throw. Got a man, no, incomplete. He was going for Cummings straight over the middle. And it's incomplete, and will bring up a 3rd and goal from 9 yards out.
See, Dave, I think that indicates what that delay of penalty really hurt the Cardinals there, because they were inside the 5, where chances are they could have tried to run it a couple of times. But now when it moved back to the 9-yard line, that really changed the strategy. And now they're faced with a 3rd and goal and what looks to be an obvious passing situation.
Broomfield left side, Cummings far right. Latrell Ware, the halfback, the tailback behind Gardner as Nagel makes the call. Fakes the handoff, rolls to the right side, looking, got a man, touchdown Louisville. It is complete to Anthony Cummings. Wide open in the end zone. Good faking in the backfield, too, by Browning-Nagel.
Yep. You see him roll to the right side. Good patience by Browning. He waits. There's Cummings waving his hands. He said, I'm open. He makes the catch just inside the end line. Now here's isolation. You see the one-on-one coverage. Questions in the secondary for Paul Roach's club early this year. Look at Cummings. He's wide open. He says, throw me the ball. And he's wide open, and really nailed him. And the first score of the year is through the air from Browning-Nagel.
Ronnie Bell coming in to add the extra point for Louisville. As the Cardinals have drawn first blood here in Laramie, the kick is up. The kick is good. And early in the season, 13:26 remaining in the season opener's first half in Laramie, Wyoming. It is Louisville 7 and the Cowboys nothing. Back with the Cardinal kickoff in a moment.
He said they can start work tomorrow if we let them know today. We still have to apply for that loan.
So call the bank.
They can't respond that fast.
Just watch this.
When you need a loan, any kind of loan, just pick up the phone. When you use First National's loan phone, you get an answer
They'll
back.
call us back in less than an hour.
Well, like I said, just call the bank.
First National Bank.
Coming through for you.
They're coming at you. On the ground. In the air. The most dynamic college football team of '89. The Louisville Cardinals. Coming at you with an explosive Cardinal Stadium schedule. Tickets are going fast, so call 588-5151 today. And then watch out, because the Cards are coming at you.
You know, I'd sure like to be in your shoes.
Better lace them on real tight, because that's all you have out there. Just you and your shoes.
Action 11 News. Our mark is on the job we do. With dedication. With quality. With Gary Rodemeyer, Melissa Swan, and a news team determined to cover the story right. Action 11 News at 6 on WHAS TV. The mark of a leader.
Let's look at the touchdown one more time from ground level. The first completion for Browning-Nagel this year is a touchdown. You see the good rollout. Nagel pulls up, fires, and finds Cummings wide open as the touchdown goes officially for 5 yards at 7-zip Louisville.
And Ronnie Bell set to kick it off again for Louisville. Daffer at the 5-yard line. Back to the 10. Up to the 20, cuts it right up the middle, stumbles across the 25, and falls forward to about the 29-yard line. The tackle was made by David Moyler, who's the wide receiver offensively, and excellent coverage on the specialty team, the kickoff coverage team there.
You see the scoring drive, and the key there was after the tip by Sander and the interception by Flores. That set up the first score of the game.
As Carranzos brings Wyoming up to the line of scrimmage, which is the 29-yard line. He has one setback behind him. Hands it off to Dawson, and there is nothing there. That defensive interior line for Louisville, Don, has played super in these first two series.
To have Dan Gangwire led the way that way for Louisville was we watch it on our replay. You see penetration by Ted Washington. Ted turns it in, gets a piece of him, but Dan Gangwire was the first guy to get there. All of these guys are back on defense for Louisville, and the defense has obviously been ahead of the way in the offense in the preseason. A good look at Reggie Johnson, who's been playing very well. He's starting in place of Robert Gibson today.
Carranzos back to pass again. Throws it to the short man. He's got it at the 40, at the 45-yard line. That is Ted Gilmore, 6'1", 188-pound senior. He made 40 catches last year for this football team, and we have flags on the field, and Louisville is pointing as if it's a penalty against Wyoming.
Dave, you could see on that play, even if they bring it back, that's what the coaches for Louisville were concerned about, the offense. They don't call it the run and shoot. It's more the drop back and shoot. As we check out the penalty, it's roughing the passer call. Now we have offsetting penalties. Interference on the offensive side for Wyoming, so it's offsetting penalties. But Dave, that drop back and shoot offense, what Wyoming will try to do is spread the Cardinal defense out across the field horizontally. Get it to the backs, get it to the receivers in the open areas there, and try to get as many yards as they can. In essence, try to make what appears to be a short yardage play a big game.
They'll all set. The second
Louisville
down.
offensively with its passing attack will go up and down the field, whereas Wyoming will go, well, what, east and west, I suppose you call that, right? Sideways. They'll really spread that defense thin. Caranzos. That's the big fullback, Dwayne Jones, and he gets a few more yards on a 2nd and 9. 2nd and long 8. He's across the 30-yard line to the 34.
Big number 99, Ted Washington. 6'5", 300-pound junior out of Tampa, Florida. All-American candidate, made that play. A lot of coaches say on the Louisville defense, he doesn't realize how good he is. He could dominate every play.
3rd and 5 for Wyoming. Back to pass. Over the middle, caught and knocked away. What a big hit by Mark Sander, the man who tipped the last ball, and that was a reception, but he jarred the receiver away from the football.
Well, watch it again and watch Mark Sander come up and really break on the football. The junior out of Louisville DeSales, watch him come up here. Boom, the ball's there, he makes contact, and that's why the reception was not there for the Cowboys. Good defense by the All-American candidate. He was a second-team All-South American last year.
Sean Fleming almost had it blocked. Did he get a piece of it?
Looked like
yes, it did, because the ball is in excellent shape for Louisville, close to the midfield stripe. At the 47-yard line is where the Cardinals will take possession, 1st and 10, and Louisville is already leading in this football game 7-0.
Yeah, Cardinal did get a hand on it. Browning Nagel now will come back out. And I think it's so important, Dave, that the Cardinals got that interception, got the first score under the belt of Browning Nagel, because now he has the lead, he has some confidence. Let's look for the Cardinals to try to establish something on the ground now.
Ware shifts. He has Carwell Gardner, the fullback, right beside him now. Broomfield left side, Cummings far side. Cummings caught the touchdown pass earlier. Latrell Ware tries to stiff arm a man. Excellent penetration, and the man would not be denied. Tackles Latrell Ware for a loss.
Donahue, watch number 49. He's their All-American
handle, isn't
he? Yeah. You see good open field tackle. That guy, Donahue, last year, he's out of Billings, Montana, was a linebacker, and he led Wyoming in defensive tackles. Now they've moved him to a defensive tackle slot.
And what we saw on the replay there, it's a good thing that he hung on to Latrell Ware's ankle, because there was a running room if he didn't make the stop. Straight up the middle, Ware follows Carwell Gardner back across the 45. It'll be about 3rd and 8 coming up, maybe 3rd and long 7 for Louisville. It is 7-0 Cardinals if you've just joined us, live from Laramie, Wyoming.
Have a halftime score, Dave. Southern Mississippi leading at Florida State 17-10.
Hello.
West Virginia 7-3 over Ball State at the half. We're live in Wyoming. A lot of interesting things have been going on. Special people watching. The Northern Kentucky Alumni Club watching from tickets in Covington. Dennis Perry, the president of that outstanding chapter.
2nd and 9. Good offensive line work. Swing pass over to Gardner. He's got speed. 50 at the 45. Got a big block. 40, 35, down to the 30. He'll go all the way. They will not catch him. Carwell Gardner. Touchdown, Louisville. Big block from a pulling offensive lineman. Carwell Gardner, the fullback, takes the swing pass. Maybe a screen, and just ran over some people and then turned on the speed. 230 pounds. He's got 4.5 speed. He can fly.
Watch it again. This guy goes 53 yards. Watch Nagel. He sets it up, fakes to the left side. Now he looks to the right. Now watch the blocking out in front.
Yeah,
this Gardner will do it on his own. Good job by Cardwell with that speed to get by. Great block there on the right side. Now just watch him run through a couple of players. And Cardwell Gardner, an all-SEC defensive end. Howard Schnellenberger did it with Alonzo Highsmith, and you can see why he did it with Cardwell Gardner.
The first touchdown in college football that he has scored, because he's been moved over to the offense. The point after by Bell is good. It is shocking for most of the people in Laramie. 10-17 to go in the opening quarter. Louisville 14, Wyoming 0.
Bristolizing. No place else but the Bristol Bar and Grill. It's a combination of fine food and friends and service at your speed. Bristolizing is what made the Bristol Bar and Grill a Louisville landmark. And Bristolizing is there when you need it, from late morning to late evening, just like an old friend.
You know, sometimes politicians can get a little confused. Take John Hayburn. He's accusing Dave Armstrong of receiving a 1980 Worst Prosecution Award from the public defenders. But the public defenders say they never gave the award. John Hayburn is wrong. The truth is, in 1980, Dave Armstrong received the Best Prosecutor Award, the best prosecutor in Kentucky. Well, Mr. Hayburn, at least you got the year right.
Well, Brownie Nagel has 2 touchdown passes already this season here in the first quarter. You see that good pump fake? That's what really set it up. Now, here's some good running, good blocking by the Cardinals. Now, watch Gardner. He has that great speed, as Dave mentioned. Got a good block there on the right side by Alan Douglas. And then watch him break through a couple of defenders. The secondary questionable for Wyoming, and we found that out already. 52 yards officially.
Here's the ensuing kickoff. Dawson, he's got a crease up the middle and takes it out beyond the 30-yard line to about the 34. He's the most dangerous man, along with Ted Gilmore, the wide receiver for Wyoming. We'll call it, it's outside the 34, so let's call it the 35, and you see the scoring drive for the Louisville Cardinals, requiring only 3 plays, a minute 29, 52-yard touchdown pass and catch by that man. Out of Trinity High School, Carwell Gardner, played defense at Kentucky, came over to Louisville, now he's on the offense, and he is one happy fellow. Francis back to pass, fires it, already there. Somebody ran on a bad pattern there and got lucky from the standpoint that there was not a defender in the area. Walked out on the field with Carwell Gardner as the team came out and smacked him on the rump and said, "Welcome back to college football, big fella." And he said, "I'm looking forward to it."
And I think he let his actions speak for his words. That was just a great play by Nagel setting it up. And then Gardner getting some good blocking, especially Alan Douglas, and then he did it on his own.
2nd and 10. Dawson. Tripped up. Who got him? Mike Flores? Yeah. Just managed to trip him up. Dawson had a little bit more running room. It'll be 3rd and about 6 coming up for Wyoming.
But Dabby Dawson is a guy that was the Western Athletic Conference Newcomer of the Year last year. The Cardinal defense, though, a much different defense than the Cowboys saw in that 44-9 win in Cardinal Stadium a year ago. You know, we had a great time last night. Our special thanks to Jim Coles of the Deerwood Ranch. Had a great time up there with a special party we'll be featuring on the sports page next week.
Split backs this time. 3rd and 6, passing situation. Carranzos has time, fires over the middle. It's caught at the 50, down to the 45, and nailed at the 44-yard line of Louisville. The first time today that Wyoming has crossed into Louisville territory.
I believe it was Bobby Bear, Dave, who gambled a little bit on this. Mark Sander, I believe, ends up making the catch. Let's see if it's Bobby Bear who comes up. Nope, that was just a pretty good play. Good toss that time by Carranzos, and Robert Gibson was the guy that tried to get it, but that was a good play by the Wyoming Cowboys, and Wood, the recipient there, they need to make something happen.
Some running room on the near side. That is number 25, Steve Baina, carrying the football, a 205-pound senior, and he got some good distance that time. Strong run from scrimmage. The blocking improving on this series up front for Wyoming.
An awful lot of folks watching back in Louisville today, all our special pregame coverage, and we'd like to say a special hello to the coaches' wives that are watching at the home of Barbara Bradford. They're also having a baby shower for Sally Hope, the wife of assistant coach Danny Hope. They're expecting their first child, and happy anniversary to Roy and Joyce Hamlin, our executive producer. 28 years today.
2nd and 5 up the middle. He will not get the first down. Good line play defensively by the Cardinals. Everybody in on the play, and I think Gangwer was certainly in there leading the way, along with number 94, the linebacker Robert Gibson.
You know, you can't say enough about the improvement of this Cardinal defense from a year ago, and can't say enough really for what that man Paul Roach has done here in his 3rd year. He's also the athletic director. We mentioned earlier he's 63 years old, 2 consecutive WHAS titles, has not lost a conference game in 2 years. He's been the coach of the year twice. A lot of NFL experience like Howard Snellenberger.
It is 3rd and 5. Wiggins to the far side, wide receiver. Gilmore right side, fires it to the tight end, and he's got it. That seam is wide open against Louisville's defense, and Wyoming has found it. First down at the Cardinal 22-yard line.
Courtney Wood, a 6'3", 225-pound junior, is one of the best in the WHAC conference, and Carantos just doing a good job, as we said they would try to do. Look for the short passes and try to get additional yardage, and they found that seam. Now we look from right behind the signal caller for the Cowboys, just about a 3-step drop. Wood, a good route right in that seam, and finally Alexander, Sander, and Fitzgerald were there to bring him down.
1st and 10, Wyoming. Threatening for the first time. Carantos back to pass. Swings over to Dawson. Need a tackle. Didn't get it. At the 20 and knocked down there. Coming up from his defensive secondary position, number 25, John Gainey.
Bobby Bear had a chance to get the elusive Dabby Dawson in the backfield, but again, we talked about one of the keys to victory, open field tackling. Set up nicely by Carantos. The seam, flip it out to Dawson, let him use his ability. Bear had a chance to get him, but missed the open field tackle, and finally John Gainey, with some help from his friends, brought down the explosive runner. By the way, Peter Gunn, who was in that backfield last year, suffered a knee injury in the spring game. He could maybe play today. He's recovered very quickly.
Gain of 2. It is 2nd and 8 at the Louisville 20-yard line. Release man, left side is the fullback. At the 15, knocked down. It'll be 3rd and about 2. 3rd, maybe 3, coming up for Wyoming. The swing pass over to Dwayne Jones.
Well, you can see Wyoming gaining more confidence in that offense. They fell behind 14-0. Just a simple swing out. Matter of fact, Jones is only about 7 yards away from Carantos, and then he just turns it upfield and gets the most he can out of it. And this the deepest penetration, with 6:10 remaining in the first quarter, and the Cardinals leading 14-0. The Wyoming Cowboys now to the Louisville 15.
3rd and 2.5. Carantos going to put it in the air. No, he's going to run with it. He's wide open. Chased down. No, he was not chased down from behind. Knocked out of bounds just shy of the goal line. I thought for a moment that Mel Mills, no, not Mel Mills, I'm sorry, Mike Flores might be able to catch him from behind, but Carantos has some speed in order to elude Mills.
You could see he saw the opening and didn't hesitate, and finally Arthur Alexander saved the touchdown, knocking him out at about the 1-foot line, and there you see 22 in the white. Carantos put his head down. He was trying to get inside that pine line, but give it the credit to the young quarterback for the Cowboys. He saw the opening, doesn't hesitate, and he tried to take it right in.
Let's see if they go with Dawson. He scored 9 touchdowns a year ago. Touchdown, Wyoming. And the Cowboys are back in the football game, starting that drive on their own 35-yard line. They have not. Carantos has not been able to team up with his wide receivers. He's been using people from out of the backfield and the tight end on this particular drive.
Well, you could see the replay, and from a different angle, watch the blocking on the right side, and Dawson, who can smell that goal line, stumbles a little bit, but takes it across.
The point after is up, and that is good. And with 5:49 remaining in the opening quarter of the 1989 season opener in Wyoming, we have a timeout, and Louisville leading the Cowboys. It is 14-7.
Labor Day weekend, save up to 47% on Evans' entire inventory and pay no finance charges for 1 year. This country colonial sofa with attached pillow back and throw pillows, only $399, save $200. And this contemporary sofa with pub back and wood trim, regular $749, now $499. And there are no finance charges for 1 year at Evans, open Labor Day 10 till 7.
Make your dreams come true with Evans.
We're slashing prices on every car in stock at Price Break Headquarters. Cross Pontiac Jeep Eagle. We've cut our low sale prices even lower on Eagle Premier. Choose from over 25 in stock. Prices start at just $12,989. Pontiac Sunbird with air, now only $79.95. Or Pontiac Grand Am, just $89.95. For the biggest year-end discounts, come to Price Break Headquarters. Cross Pontiac Jeep Eagle.
The Platte Valley Cattlemen's Association is having a meeting.
Looky here. Cattle futures are up the limit today, perhaps.
They're American cattlemen,
I'm concerned with foreign competition.
and they raise the best beef in the world. That's important to the one company that insists on using nothing but 100% real American beef. Brought to you by some 100% real Americans.
Just hope the bull market continues.
The company? McDonald's.
That's our story here in Laramie. That time is in the first quarter, as you can see graphically. Don Russell, Dave Conrad, Howard Schnellenberger down on the sideline. His defense has spent a lot of time on the field, despite the fact the Cardinals led at one point 14-0.
Kick-off down to Craig Swabeck, 2 yards deep in the end zone. Brings it out to the 10. He's nailed at the 15 and squirts forward to the 16-yard line.
Great pursuit that time by Wyoming, and now this crowd in excess of 30,000 they expected, beginning to get into the swing of things. Anthony Cummings, Browning Nagel and company. If you joined us a little bit late, Flores picked up an interception early in the game after a tip pass off the hand of Mark Sanders. That's the scoring drive that just completed, the only score for Wyoming. Nagel hit Cummings from 6 yards out. Then the 52-yard run after the swing pass to Gardner from Nagel, and that scoring drive makes it 14-7 Louisville.
And you can expect this defense to start coming against Louisville. Up in the air, not complete. Is intended for Chad Fortune.
Yeah, and also Gardner was in that area, Dave. And one thing Browning Nagel will have to be careful of is he threw that ball in a crowd that time. Of course, Jay Gruden, a 4-year starter, Browning learned an awful lot from him, but one of the things he'll have to be careful of, especially deep in his own territory, is throwing that ball in a crowd. And that was tipped high in the air, and then it's anybody's football.
Terrell Ware, the tailback, right behind Carwell Gardner. Broomfield left side, Cummings right side. Terrell Ware brings it up close to the 18-yard line. Critical third down play coming up for the Cardinals. Third and about 7. Rigby in on the stop for the Cowboys.
This Wyoming defense is a very good one. They are questionable at the cornerback positions, where Paul Wallace, a redshirt freshman, and Ivory Samilton, a junior player, JUCO transfer. But up front, they're very solid. They are extremely tough, and they proved that last year, holding the opponents to just over 300 yards a game.
Cardinals need 7 yards for a first down. Nagel over the middle. He had his man open. Latrell Ware from out of the backfield had come straight up the field and found that seam, but the ball was overthrown. And that's where Browning Nagel, who has a fantastic arm, can throw it 80 or 90 yards in the air, can throw it from sideline to sideline on one knee, and that's 50 yards. Has to learn a little bit more touch. Lay that ball up there.
Yep, that's very important, and Howard Schnellenberger would tell him that. Let's see if the Cowboys come after Klaus Wilmsmeyer.
Ooh, boy, does he nail this one. Drives the man back to the 23-yard line. At the 30, the 40, turns it back outside, and finally wrestled out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Wyoming with excellent field position, and unfortunately for the Louisville defense, Don, they did not have an opportunity to rest very much on the sideline.
Let's watch Ted Gilmore. He gets a 27-yard return, starts to cut it up. Then he saw the opening outside, gets a good block, and finally is chased to the sideline, and a good open field tackle by David Moyer. Gilmore very dangerous back there. We had a good return, and now Tom Carranzos, Dave, he's gaining a little bit more confidence each time he brings the club up to the line.
Jones, the lone setback. He has a slot back on the right side. 3 wide receivers, right side, right over the middle. Incomplete. Threw it behind his intended receiver, Gordy Wood, the tight end.
Wyoming just continuing what they did on the last series, Dave, and it's what we talked about, stretching out that Cardinal defense, trying to throw under the coverage. And Gordy Wood was the guy that was open there, and that pass was just thrown behind him. He was in that seam once again.
That's a big gainer, too, if he had completed that one.
Good protection this time. Carranzos has time. Again, about a 5-step drop. Carranzos 4 out of 7 for 44 yards unofficially.
Dawson and Jones, the setbacks at the 50-yard line. 2nd and 10. Good heat that time. Screen left side to the fullback. He's got it. First down and more down to the Louisville 36-yard line. That's what Louisville scored on. That swing pass on the screen over to the fullback. Louisville got real good pressure on the quarterback here, but that was intentional.
Yeah, here's Dwayne Jones picking up his blocking. Finally, Joey Smith gets a hand on him, and he's pulled down eventually by Ed Reynolds. But a good gainer once again. Another Wyoming first down with 4:23 to go in the first quarter. Cardinals leading 14-7. It was 14-0, and the Cowboys moving westward again.
Now the defense has been on the field for much of this first quarter, despite the fact the Cardinals have scored 14. Go back again. There's a flag down, as you saw. He is bumped hard at the 30 and falls forward to the 28-yard line, but there is a flag down.
John Gainey finally made the stop, but as Dave indicated, a penalty marker. It's going to be a motion call against the Wyoming Cowboys.
And that is not going to happen to this ball club. I ain't bullshit. We've opened the door. We're going to go through it next week, and we're going to kick ass and take no prisoners the week after.
Played down the fact that he didn't think the altitude was a problem because of the humidity and the things that you have in Louisville. But we've talked to some other people, and they
illegal motion.
It does have an impact. Of course,
still first down.
There, I guess, because it's something you're going to have to deal with. Second penalty of the game against the Cowboys, and that moves it back to the 41-yard line.
Just under 4 minutes now remaining in the opening quarter of this game in Laramie, Wyoming. It is 1st and 15 for the Cowboys, back at the 41-yard line of the Cardinals. Fakes the handoff, going deep, left side, incomplete, going for Ted Gilmore. Man on the coverage was Alexander.
Yep. Boy, I tell you what, Gilmore had that step too, Dave. He has tremendous speed, and Arthur Alexander, the outstanding defensive back a year ago for the Cardinals, was really a little bit beaten on the play. Carantos really cranks this one up out of that play action, and you can see Gilmore diving for it just off his fingertips.
Nice effort that time by Ted Gilmore. But it brings up a 2nd and 15 for Wyoming. Carantos on the handoff this time, and Dabby Dawson has not had a good day at all. Louisville has to be keying on Dabby Dawson.
I would think so. Andrew Higgs, the senior out of Nassau, Bahamas, they call him the Big Kahuna. At 27 tackles a year ago, the most explosive defensive lineman. You see big number 75 wrap up Dabby Dawson and then get some assistance from Deron Williams, among others. But Wyoming's done a good job, Dave, controlling the ball and using some time. And the Cardinal offense, despite the fact they scored 14 points, have not had any really sustained drives to give that defense a blow.
3rd and 15, Wyoming. Washington puts pressure on it. Completes the pass, however. Nailed at the 34-yard line and driven down hard by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Louisville Cardinals. Big time hits that time by Louisville coming up to nail Steve Baina.
Yeah, good coverage, and Ted Washington put a lot of pressure on Carantos. You can watch number 99. Look at him. He got by the stunt very quickly, and good job by Tom to keep that ball alive, and you can see the gang tackling. Howard Schnellenberger likes to see that. Now let's watch. How'd you like to have this big stud coming at you? Not me, thank you. I would rather head to the hills here in the high plains of Laramie.
We're going for a field goal. Sean Fleming, who can kick it 51 yards. It is no good. He certainly had the distance, but it's off on the far side, and Louisville will take over at its own 34-yard line with 2:17 to go in the first quarter.
Good job by the Cardinal defense, and now it's up to the offense, Dave, and Howard Schnellenberger, I'm sure, is very aware of this, that he needs to get some kind of sustained drive going here, because that defense immediately goes over to the bench and begins to rest up a little bit. Cardinal season football tickets available right now. You can call 588-6325, Visa or MasterCard only.
Louisville football, 1st and 10 from its 34. Lipsy, Curtis Lipsy, redshirt freshman in the backfield for the first time, and a misconnection looking for Moyler. And Moyler was going straight up the field, and it was an out pattern. That's where Browning-Nagel threw the football.
Moyler, of course, a great special teams player, getting some action as you look at the numbers for Browning-Nagel today. Nagel has 2 touchdowns along with a 57-yard total. One to Cummings and one to Harwell Gardner on a screen play.
Moyler left side, far side is Fred Jones. Craig Swabek, the fullback. Behind him is Curtis Lipsy. 2nd and 10, Cardinals. Nagel fires it over to Curtis. At the 35, he's juking around, and he's hit at the 35-yard line. A gain of only 1 on the play. Curtis a little bit indecisive that time on what he wanted to do after he caught the football, instead of getting as much as you could and just turn the speed on.
Yeah, and that allowed the Cowboy defense to really emerge on him. Steve Addison, the middle linebacker. You see Nagel, good protection this time, finally goes to the safety valve. It's Lipsy. And here you'll see the hesitation. He almost stumbled. Now he tries to cut it back in, and Addison wraps him up with a couple of other Cowboys.
And that was good pursuit by Wyoming, too, not to allow the cutback. It is 3rd and about 8 for Louisville. Nagel, good protection, good protection. Releases it to Swabeck, breaks the tackle, 40, 45, 50, 45, slides to the 43-yard line. Craig Swabeck, he is the man in the backfield. He is steady Eddie.
Yeah, he is. And Darren Werber kept it from being even a bigger gainer, number 74. Craig Swabeck quit the team last year. Ella actually decided he didn't want to come back for his 5th year and just concentrate on studies, but he got homesick. So he asked the coach if he could come back, and Coach Snellenberger welcomed him with open arms, and he said, we want his leadership. He is a guy that's a tough player. He's one of the strongest players on the team, and just got a piece of him. Wearer did, the left end, or that would have been even a bigger gainer for Craig Swabeck. Now you see a different angle. Good job by Nagel to find Swabeck. And then you see nice little nifty move by the senior.
That was a first down move. He had to make that move and elude the tackler. He's running better than ever, Craig Swabeck.
There you look at him on the sideline. We understand we have an official that has a pulled muscle here today.
The ball at the Wyoming 43-yard line. Louisville 1st and 10. Curtis Lipsy. He broke a few tackles. Those were pretty tough yards for this redshirt freshman to pick up. He moved inside the 40 at the 39.
Source, if you joined us a little bit late, D. Smith not in action today. He is yet to be certified because of a question concerning his residency. He completed 24 hours of sea work or above, and now the question is about the calendar year. So the university informed Coach Snellenberger that they needed to review it further, so he will not see action today.
Carwell Gardner back in at fullback. Broomfield left side, Cummings far right side. Pitch, Lipsy leading the interference. Carwell Gardner down to the 35-yard line. You see that block thrown by Curtis Lipsy. That defensive man just went head over heels.
Curtis is a fine young man and a real aggressive football player, and this guy is an absolute horse. Carwell Gardner. And he is so excited to get a chance to play his senior year at the University of Louisville. Brownie Nagel, I'm sure, is glad to have him in the backfield. And that's the end of the first quarter.
End of the first quarter, the Louisville Cardinals enjoying their season opener here in Laramie, Wyoming. Leading the Wyoming Cowboys, it is 14-7.
It's smoother than glass. Smoother than ivory. Twice as smooth as Teflon. You've never felt anything smoother. Introducing the remarkable new blue Ultra Glide strip on the Wilkinson Sword Ultra Glide blade. In a recent test, men preferred Ultra Glide to Gillette. Ultra Glide from Wilkinson Sword. It's smoother than...
Pepsi, please.
Sorry, honey. There's none left.
More people are moving to Diet Pepsi, the right one.
You can figure out your strategy and plan every move, but to make it all come alive, you need people. People you can count on to give their all. Whether it's the players on the field or the fans in the stands. They're Cardinal people. And I'd rather be here with this team than anywhere else. Anywhere.
Tab, Sprite, Coke Classic, Diet Coke, and Coke, only $1.99 for 12 12-ounce cans. Frito-Lay Lay's potato chips, just $1.99. Whole boneless ham, only $1.39 a pound.
Quitting time, Joan.
Heard from the bank yet, Joan?
They might get back to her next week. I wouldn't bet on it.
First National takes your requests very seriously. When you ask something of us, we'll get back to you the very same day. How many banks can make that kind of promise?
Joan Budd, your bank's on line 1. Don't wait for me.
What bank was that?
First National Bank.
Coming through for you.
Played 15 minutes of football on the high plains of Laramie, Wyoming. The Cardinals lead it by 7 as we begin quarter number 2.
Third down for Louisville. at the 35-yard line of Wyoming. It is 3rd and a long 2. Gardner, the fullback. Lipsy, the tailback. Fakes the handoff. Got to throw it. Tries to nail the fullback with it. Carwell Gardner, and it's incomplete. Good coverage that time.
Yeah, George Dozier, the strong side safety, number 2, a senior out of La Mesa, California. As we look at it again, little play action, rolling to the near side. Now he pulls up, fires, and just good coverage that time. He was trying to force that into Gardner, and now the Cardinals are going to punt.
Wilmsmeyer is in. As you see that replay from a different angle, Nagel running to the left. Tried to force it in. Threw it low, however, which is where you want to throw it. Here's the punt, trying to angle it out of bounds, and does not. Into the end zone. So Wyoming will bring it out to its own 20-yard line. Klaus Wilmsmeyer, the sophomore.
Well, Klaus was trying to angle it, as you indicated, Dave, and we have at times a crossing wind here. You look at the flags right now, though, and there appears to be no wind at all. Of course, we're located at about 7,220 feet altitude, so you get some very brisk winds through here, and sometimes it's very still. Quite a fishing trip for Denny Crum, Bill Olson and company, advancing this trip up around the Saratoga area, along with Harry Jones, Sam Rector. This has just been a great trip. Let's hope it's a win.
Debbie Dawson back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a half-yard more. That sustained drive that did not result in a score, however, for Louisville certainly did help the defense down. Then maybe they got their second win because they were on the field an awful long time in that first quarter.
No question, Dave, and I think one of the things that we wanted to watch today was obviously the defense is very solid, but it's the first game. The Cardinals are extremely good condition, but yet, you know, you have a situation, it's the first game, and you can't practice and scrimmage like a real game opportunity that you have here today.
2nd and 9.5. Carranzos back to pass, getting heat, and he's going to be nailed in the backfield. Good pressure. Joey Smith came up. It was a safety blitz, and he came up, and Carranzos had to sidestep him, allowing another defensive man to knock him down.
Watch 96 Mike Flores. First the pressure came inside from Reggie Johnson, and finally Flores just hammers down Carranzos. That's the kind of pressure they need. There's Chris Fregotis, who's working with the running backs this year. He and Gary Nord actually splitting the offensive coordinator's duties, so to speak.
Ball back at the 13-yard line. Wyoming has to go to the 30 for a first down on a 3rd down play. Carranzos rolling to the near side. He's got room to run if he so desires. He fires it upfield, and it's incomplete. So that sack of the quarterback in the backfield will help Louisville's field position immensely here as Cummings goes back to receive this anticipated punt.
Yeah, Cummings will go back as the deep man, Swabek as the short man. This is a guy, Cummings, who's very good at this, but the Cardinals were really excited about D. Smith's ability in this category. He's not available today.
Sean Fleming, the punter. Ooh. Had to run away from the football. I think not only he slipped, maybe he lost the ball because of the glare of the sun.
Well, he did the right thing, I'll tell you that, as he got out of the way of the football, and that's for sure. That's what he needed to do. 13-13 left. Cardinals lead it 14-7. Back to Laramie in a moment.
We're slashing prices on every car in stock at Price Break Headquarters. Cross Pontiac Jeep Eagle. We've cut our low sale prices even lower on Eagle Premier. Choose from over 25 in stock. Prices start at just $12,989. Pontiac Sunbird with air, now only $79.95. Or Pontiac Grand Am, just $89.95. For the biggest year-end discounts, come to Price Break Headquarters. Cross Pontiac Jeep Eagle.
The rabbits around here don't like Jack Branson.
It's looking real good.
Jack's got farmers picking his lettuce early.
Never get it unsweet.
Though he regrets the inconvenience to some. Fact is, early lettuce is sweeter lettuce.
You won't find any better lettuce.
And for the company Jack buys for, that's the only lettuce that's good enough. So while not everyone buys Jack's approach, Jack knows he's buying better lettuce from McDonald's.
Attention regular gasoline users. Announcing new Gulf Plus. Higher in octane to outperform any regular gasoline you can buy. fire tank full. And for premium users, our highest octane Gulf Super. It keeps your valves and fuel intake systems free of carbon deposits other gasolines leave behind. So, you get more power than ever before. New Plus and Super. 2 gasoline breakthroughs from Gulf.
Hello? Don Russell, Dave Conrad, live from Laramie. If you joined us late, a quick scoring summary. The Cardinals, after an interception by Mike Flores, get a touchdown from Brian Nagel to Cummings to make it a 7-0 ball game. Then Gardner, 52 yards on a swing pass from Nagel, 14-zip. And then the Cowboys came back with a 1-yard run by Dawson with 14-11 in the first, and we stand at 14-7 right now.
Louisville football at its own 34-yard line. Gardner and Ware, the setbacks behind Browning Nagel. 14-7, Cardinals in the lead. Need another sustained drive here. Uh-oh, look at that. He had no time at all. Left defensive end came in very quickly. Or was he a blitzing linebacker? Vaughn Henderson, there was no time for Browning Nagel, and he came from the blind side.
Well, Wyoming does a lot of twisting up front, and Nagel had no chance. He takes this snap. Now, look, he's looking away from 52 Vaughn Henderson, and Henderson is right there, puts his head in the numbers of Brian Nagel, and from a different angle, you can see just the blitz coming outside.
Yep.
And he ran into no interference at all, Henderson, and he wraps up Browning Nagel.
Loss of 11 yards on the play. It is 2nd and 21. Obvious passing situation. Takes the handoff. Got to get rid of it. Sidesteps the man. He's got a strong arm. Throws incomplete. He's trying to find Carwell Gardner up around the 30, but he overthrew him.
I think Wyoming's beginning to do some different things up front now, Dave, in terms of the twists and stunts that they like to do and do so well. And Nagel did an outstanding job for Howard Schnellenberger just to get rid of that football and avoid another big loss. But the pressure really coming from that front defensive wall of Wyoming that is outstanding.
They've turned that defense into an offensive weapon on this series against Louisville. And they're making Louisville's offense play defense.
What a beautiful live shot from War Memorial Stadium.
Latrell Ware up into the slot on the near side. Nagel, good protection, throws it, almost intercepted. He was looking for Broomfield. Broomfield said he was pushed.
Double coverage that time by Dozier and Samilton, and this crowd's on its feet. They appreciate the defense.
That'll bring Klaus Wilmsmeyer in to punt this ball away inside his own 10-yard line.
Now a little bit of wind into Klaus's face as we look at this swirling wind here in War Memorial Stadium.
They got the return on. Boy, he nails this one. Almost as high as the stadium. Taken at the 27-yard line. Back up to the 40. Hit hard at the 30. No, not at the 40, the 35. And then hit hard at the 36-yard line. Excellent coverage that time by Louisville and a super punt by Klaus Wilmsmeyer.
Yeah, it was a good coverage that time by the Cardinals, and we'd like to remind you, every Saturday, a doubleheader, the sports page, a lot of things we shot here in Wyoming at a barbecue and on a nice train ride last night will be featured. Plus, Dave will be along with the Howard Schnellenberger Show. It starts each Saturday at noon here on WHAS TV 11.
Louisville Cardinals scored on their first 2 possessions. They have not been able to sustain much of anything since. Wyoming football at the 36. Hit at the line of scrimmage, breaks a tackle, and gets maybe 4 yards up to the 40-yard line before Bana is tackled.
Mark Sander with the good play. Mark leads that defense, number 48, 6'2", 226-pound junior. Gets better every day, according to defensive coordinator Rick Lance. He's the guy that they always elect as captain, and they do it on a game-to-game basis, and he received about 22 votes this week, and I think the second guy received 5 votes. That shows what the team who votes on that thinks of his leadership.
Dawson going in motion and shifts back. 2nd and 6. Carranzos over the middle. He's got his man at the 40, at the 30. Touchdown, Wyoming, wide open. Coming out of that slot was Sean Wiggins. And I mean wide open.
Well, the Cardinals came after the pressure. Watch this great job by Carranzos. He gets away from Fitzgerald, and as a result, Bobby Bear is beaten on the play, and Sean Higgins will take it 64 yards for the touchdown. So Fitzgerald, the linebacker, came on the blitz, had pressure all over Carranzos, but give the young quarterback a lot of credit. The sophomore found Wiggins open.
Well, we've got a new football game, folks. The Cardinals scored the first 14 points of the game. It's been Wyoming since. They have now tied the game.
Watch Fitzgerald, 47, right in the middle of your picture. He is all over Carranzos, gets his hands up, but the young sophomore gets rid of it. Bobby Bear gets beaten on the play. Wiggins takes it in 64 yards, and we have a new ball game, and we'll be back with 11:19 remaining in the first half in Laramie.
Bristolizing. No place else but the Bristol Bar and Grill. It's a combination of fine food and friends and service at your speed. Bristolizing is what made the Bristol Bar and Grill a Louisville landmark. And Bristolizing is there when you need it, from late morning to late evening, just like an old friend.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
What's taking you so long?
There's one taste that just can't be duplicated.
Michael, you just don't look yourself today.
Diet Pepsi. Taste that's generations ahead.
When you look through the paper, you'd think every car dealer in town is ready to give you the deal of a lifetime. Low financing, no down payment, lowest prices, low monthly payments. All the incentives are here. But you can't always judge a good deal by just the incentives. At Bob Smith Chevrolet, you can own a new Beretta with cash back of $1,000 or financing as low as 2.9%. An equipped S10 Tahoe with $750 cash back or 2.9% financing. For the right price the first time and deals that aren't paper thin, Bob Smith's the one.
Well, it was 14-zip Louisville. Now it's all tied up 14-all.
There's the ensuing kickoff, and it's short, and it's going out of bounds. They'll make this Wyoming team kick it over.
Let's take a look at the scoring drive, Dave. It covered 64 yards
Kick out of bounds.
in 2 plays.
It's Wyoming. Free kick, 5 yards.
That's the official, if you didn't know. Time of possession, 48 yards. Of course, the final 60 on that outstanding play by Carranzos to Wiggins.
Carranzos has not so far in the game taken a deep drop at all either, Don. He's taken, what, 3 steps?
Yeah, and, you know, that's the kind of offense that Wyoming will run, Dave. They will. It's not a run and shoot. We've talked about it. It's a drop back and shoot, but they very seldom do drop back very deep in a pro-type offense where it's just simply, you know, 6, 7, 8-step drop. They try to make it happen quick. That's big Bob Maddox, who coaches the defensive line. Cardinals really need to get something going offensively here this time because the momentum is really shifting toward the Cowboys, and of course they're playing at home, and what a job by this kick.
Look what Fleming did. He nails that one 8 yards deep in the end zone.
And he kicked it from the 30.
Doesn't he? He owns the high school field goal record in Canada, doesn't he?
I think he does.
50-some yards.
And that guy hit 59 of 59 extra points a year ago.
Yeah, as a freshman.
Yep.
As a true freshman.
You see the numbers for Browning Nagel, and he needs to improve those with this drive, and the Cardinals have seen a 14-0 lead go by the boards, and now Nagel and company will try to change that.
First and 10 Louisville, it's on 20-yard line. Setbacks. The big fullback, that's Carwell Gardner, and he just bowls over people up to about the 25-yard line. There wasn't much there.
No, there wasn't, but that guy has plenty of power at about 230 pounds. A lot of speed to go along with that power, and I think the Cardinals will use him quite a bit on the ground today. We have already seen his ability as a pass receiver, as he scored a touchdown earlier on a 52-yard run after the pass from Nagel.
Well, what the Louisville defense right now wants and needs to catch its breath is for this offense to get a sustained drive together. Nagel hands it off to Gardner again. He's got a first down, crossing the 30 to the 31. Back-to-back rushes by the big fullback, Carwell Gardner.
And there you see it. Good blocking on the right side of that offensive line. And a big hole, and Gardner recognizes it. Good job by Scott McAllister, Mike Mousy, Pete Berkey, and Mousy
alternate an awful lot at that right tackle position.
You can tell how strong a man is and how hard he is running by how many yards he gets after he is hit.
He has 20 yards on 4 carries today.
1st and 10, Louisville. It's on 31-yard line. They go back to pass. Stetson Heat releases it to Curtis Lipsy. Shakes one man at the 35, pulled down at the 39-yard line. The flag is down, and that is face mask.
Good job by Lipsy to get outside, and as a result, because of his speed, one of the Cowboys got a piece of his face mask. Here you see from our end zone camera, Nagel looking to the right. Now he cuts it back across on the safety valve to Lipsy. Good job Curtis does getting away here. Now watch, there's the grab right there. Certainly a face mask penalty. And Browning Nagel getting a lot of pressure on him now. It was Darrell Harris who committed the infraction. So watch Nagel. See, he has to jump out of the pocket.
5 yards against Wyoming. Be a first down.
And you heard the official confirm what we indicated. It is a major penalty, or, well, take that back. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty. They said it was an incidental grab of the face mask, not flagrant, so add 5 yards to take it out to the 44.
But it's an automatic first down. 1st and 10, Louisville at its own 44. Drive started at the Cardinal 20. Split backs. Nagel back to pass. He's got all day. He's going long. He's looking, caught. And a flag is thrown. Is that McKay?
Fred Jones.
Fred Jones, number 90, not McKay, number 80. Fred Jones out of Callaway County.
Yep, 37 yards, but this could be, it's going to be a defensive pass interference call.
Pass interference.
Nice catch.
It's Wyoming. Decline. First down.
It was indeed 37 yards, Dave. Takes it down to the 17-yard line. Nagel put it up. There's Fred Jones. A good look at the sophomore who played a lot as a freshman last year. Matter of fact, had a TD reception. 162 yards in receiving. He's had a shoulder injury. It slowed him down a little bit in the preseason, but he's a guy they're going to count on, and he is out of the game, and we have Cummings and Bloomfield back in at the wideouts.
It is 1st and 10, Louisville, 19-yard line, Lipsy inside the 15. Excellent driving power in the legs by Curtis Lipsy, the redshirt freshman out of Chicago, and he is inside the 15 at the 13-yard line.
And that's one of the things that Lipsy does so well, as you look at the numbers for Browning Nagel, is he has that ability to keep spinning and keep moving. One of the key ingredients to being a good running back, and you saw a good example of it there as he takes it inside the 10.
Gain of 6 on the play. It is 2nd and 4. Lipsy again. Good blocking. Good blocking on the offensive line on that left side. And then also the fullback, Carwell Gardner, throwing some nice blocks. The ball down close to the 10.
Werner was the guy that made the stop for Wyoming. Good drive by Louisville this time, Dave. Very important. As we indicated, they started it on the ground with Carwell Gardner. Then got the big pass play to Fred Jones, and that's what happens. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. You have to worry about the run. That opens up the pass.
It's all a matter of execution. 8:23 and counting remaining in the first half. We're tied 14-all. It is 3rd and 1 just inside.
Big, the backup center, as the third tight end. He was in on that last series, and now they go back to the standard formation with Fortune on the right side and 2 wideouts and 2 backs.
1st and goal for the Cardinals at the 7. Lipsy, not much there. Right back to the initial line of scrimmage. Well, should we look for Chad Fortune this time on 2nd down?
It's a possibility. I think Browning Nagel looking over to the Cardinals sideline. Jeff Morrow, the new assistant coach that came from Morehead State, relaying the plays in. He's getting those upstairs from Gary Nord. Gary had that role last year down on the field with Jack Burns. Of course, Jack now a coach with the Washington Redskins.
2nd and goal, 7.5 yards out. Look for the tight end, Chad Fortune here. Nice block. Nagel. Uh-oh, he's in trouble. Shakes a man, intercepted. He is intercepted at the 1-yard line. I thought Browning Nagel had stepped out of bounds before he threw the ball, but that is not ruled. The interception goes at the 1-yard line of Wyoming.
I thought he did too. Let's watch number 7. Did he step on the paint before he threw the ball? He is, that's so close. It's tough to tell from that angle. And there's the interception. And it's picked off by Samilton. You could see Chad Fortune. He was the guy who was trying to get it to, and there's the INT by number 4, Samilton, and that was just an ill-advised pass by Brownie Nagel. He was trying to throw it away and threw an INT instead. Did he hold on to the ball? That's another question. I guess the officials indicated that that guy, Samilton, had the possession before it was knocked loose out of bounds.
Well, that ruins a nice drive that started at the Louisville 20-yard line.
And the bad thing about that, Dave, is the Cardinals came away with no points.
If you go ahead, in Browning Nagel's case, just take the ball out of bounds, you always have the next shot. Long pass, incomplete, caught it out of bounds.
I tell you what, Cardinals has become a riverboat gambler. Paul Roach is that type of head coach, and that was somewhat of a surprise because the interception was at about the 1-yard line, and he threw that ball deep, and it was caught, but it was out of bounds for the Cowboys, and I guess Coach Roach thought that they might catch the Cardinals secondary sleeping there, but with 7:02 to go in the half and a 14-all game, it's now 2nd down and 10. And Wyoming must concern itself with taking care of the ball here.
Dawson and Johns, the setback behind Carranzos. From the Wyoming 1, it is 2nd and 10. Dawson, up the middle, troops away, crosses the 5, gets up to the 7 or the 8. It'll be 3rd and maybe 3 or 4 coming up depending on the spot. And a huge 3rd down coming up for Wyoming. Huge for the Louisville defense.
Watch Dabby Dawson. He can really juke his way through there, and it was Fitzgerald, number 47, who wrapped him up first, a junior out of Springfield, Illinois. Was a strong linebacker last year, or weak linebacker this year. Dawson, 16 yards and 7 carries unofficially today.
A little bit less than what he did last year.
Right? Yeah, I'd say 125 yards and 8 carries.
3rd and 3 for Wyoming. Going to put the ball up. Carranzos, he's got a man open, and it's incomplete. He threw it behind him. Wells was there.
Yeah, and John Gainey was coming in inside the hash mark, and Wells was all by himself over on the sideline, and that was just not a well-thrown football at all, Dave.
Louisville got a break that time. That will bring Fleming in to punt and send Cummings back to receive. Well, the Cardinals just a moment ago with the interception at the half-yard line by Wyoming had one get away.
10 men are up on the line of scrimmage this time.
Cardinals are coming this time. Yes, they are, but he gets the punt away. Hangs it high and nails it. Good night.
Better field it, Anthony.
Roll into the end zone. It won't. It rolls dead at the 1 from his own end zone. Do you believe that, Sean Fleming?
Got 94 yards, isn't it?
Good night.
Give him a 90-yard punt, unofficially. Anthony Cummings couldn't decide whether to catch that boomer or not. Probably did the wise thing, I guess, by getting away from it. But then after it bounced, I thought he might try to field it, but he didn't want to take any chance. And you can see Fleming getting all kinds of congratulations. That's got to be a school record, or close to one for Wyoming. Unbelievable punt.
I could understand that, Don, if we were in a gale out here. I mean, the wind is blowing, but not that much.
Yeah. One thing about it, of course, with this altitude, the ball carries very well.
Does it always carry 90 yards?
Well, normally.
We have a timeout here in Laramie. 6:02 remaining first half. We're tied 14-all.
Hey, are you a sports fan? How would you like to win $100? $100! All you have to do is answer 6 sports trivia questions.
Like what?
Like questions on football, soccer, tennis, basketball, golf, baseball, auto racing. Yep, all sports. Just answer 6 trivia questions and win.
What are the questions?
I can't tell you. Just call 1-900-990-WINS from a touch-tone phone. Answer 6 questions and win $100. It's that easy. In fact, over $100,000 has already been won.
What was that number again?
1-900-990-WINS. Call now. In fact, call anytime. Test your sports knowledge and win $100. Championship Sports Trivia is only 95 cents per minute. Only 95 cents. And is offered exclusively from WHAS TV.
You're right. I won. No joke. Give me the money. Give me the money.
You can't win if you don't call. 1-900-990-WINS. So what are you waiting for? Call.
One.
They're coming at you. On the ground. In the air. The most dynamic college football team of '89. the Louisville Cardinals. Coming at you with an explosive Cardinal Stadium schedule. Tickets are going fast, so call 588-5151 today. And then watch out, because the Cards are coming at you.
Coach Howard Snellenberger and the fans here in Laramie have just witnessed the longest punt in school history. The old record, 86 yards by Don Clayton against Utah State in 78, and Jack Wheel against Kansas State in 83. It was 86 yards. That one was 90.
You can bet that Wyoming defense, really pumped up after that record-setting punt, will come after Louisville right now. Handoff goes to Luttrell there, and he gets maybe a yard or two.
Dave, let's take an opportunity now to take a look at that 90-yard punt. You're going to look from the end zone and watch how far this ball carries. And Cummings decides not to field it. Boy, what a great shot that is. Look at the spin on that ball. Good height. That ball lands about 5 yards over the head of Anthony Cummings. And then Cummings decides not to field it, watches it bounce, and you talk about a friendly roll on this nice grass surface here at War Memorial Stadium. It comes to rest at the 1-yard line.
Gain of about a yard and a half by Ware. Pitch back goes to the fullback. Cardwell runs over the man.
I tell you what, Cardwell Gardner just gave Ron Dean a headache. That's about a triple Tylenol shot there. Watch Gardner, number 31, and watch 21, Ron Dean. I mean, he better head to the medicine cabinet right now. Watch this. Boom! Who got the best end of that deal?
230-pound Cardwell Gardner.
Tell you what, answer the phone.
3rd and 5 coming up. Important third down situation again for the Cardinals. And you're deep in your own territory. Make the right play. We're tied, 14 all. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the first half here in Laramie. Running play. Nothing there. Punting situation coming up for Louisville.
Now, Wyoming certainly wanted to get its hands on the football before the end of the half with 4:25 and the clock rolling, remaining first half. And now Klaus Wilsmeyer will be punting out of the Cardinal end zone as you're looking live at War Memorial Stadium in the high plains of Laramie, Wyoming. Don Russell, Dave Conrad, glad to have you along with our fine crew.
Is a line drive, and it's low and does not roll much. Crosses the 50-yard line, but at least there's no return.
And Klaus was pretty lucky to get that bounce there.
Wyoming will have the football, 1st and 10 at its own 48-yard line, with 3:54 remaining in the first half and an opportunity to take its first lead in this game.
Now you saw Paul Roach talking to that young man, Tom Carranzos, who got off to a shaky start with an interception that set up the first Cardinal score, but now the Great Falls Montana sophomore has got it all together. You see his numbers today.
Debbie Dawson, missed tackle, finally got him down. Ted Washington rolls Dawson down at the Louisville 48-yard line.
Yeah, Davy Dawson's a guy you can't let get by you too often because sometime during a game he is going to break one. Ted finally made the stop, but I believe it was Flores and Sander that had the first opportunities. And Davy Dawson, All-American candidate, 3rd highest single-season total last year in rushing with 1,119. He had 9 touchdowns rushing. He averaged 7.6 yards per carry, Davy Dawson.
Louisville's done a really good job of containing him. Carranzos over the middle, complete to Dawson. Well, if they can't shake him loose out of the backfield, let him run out for a pass. And it's down to the Louisville 45-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3 yards to go for the Cowboys.
Wyoming. Now you can hear the official through our wireless mic, and that will erase that gain by the Cowboys. It'll be a motion penalty. That's the time remaining, 2nd quarter. A couple of special halftime guests. We'll be talking to Keith Inman of the Cardinal Athletic Fund and Ron Steiner, the assistant to the head coach for the football program. That's coming up at halftime. Also, Dave will bring you a special feature on a Cardinal fan that has left us but will be in our hearts forever, Katie Lacefield. That's all coming up at halftime.
With that penalty, we go back to what we had just before the play. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. And nobody in the backfield will protect Carranzos. But there's that quick drop, and he is getting some heat now.
almost breaks free. Finally pulled down at the Wyoming 45-yard line by Ted Washington.
A lot of pressure that time by Louisville, and one Cardinal getting up a little bit slow. I think that's Robert Gibson. But he's all right. He's hobbling around, or it's Mike Flores, excuse me, and he waves everybody off. There you see the pressure. First guy that got there was Fitzgerald, and then finally it's turned in. And Washington makes the stop.
And with nobody back there to block in the offensive backfield, that means the linebackers and the defensive secondary really covered well on that play. Carranzos couldn't find anybody open. Third and long. Screen knocked down. Knocked down by Dan Gangler.
I think Dan was as surprised as anyone. He put his hands high in the air to knock it down, and the ball was actually thrown right about at his numbers.
A big defensive stand there by the Cardinals.
Let's see. As we look from the end zone, look at that hit just above his shoulder pad there. Good job by Dan. They teach the linemen to get their hands up. And there's the big junior out of Fremont, Ohio. His leadership ability, good awareness on the field, an excellent pass rusher.
High punt again. Swabek runs away from the ball. It bounces into the end zone this time. So the Cardinals will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20. We are tied at 14-all with 1:56 remaining here in the first half.
We mentioned the fact that the Northern Kentucky alumni group watching on television at Tickets in Covington, Dennis Perry, the president of that outstanding organization, and Art Reed, a friend of mine from out at the Bacon's Men Department at Bashford Manor. He has a niece that'll be practicing medicine real soon in this area. And also a special hello to Mr. and Mrs. Roddy Skaggs and their son Brent of Louisville. That comes from our audio technician today, Ron Tompkins, says hello to those fine folks. That tells the whole story score-wise and time-wise. And the Cardinals now have the football, and Brownie Nagel will take some time to talk to Howard Schnellenberger.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals at the 20. There is a discussion going on, maybe about the fair catch signal or something like that. There was a flag that was thrown down at the 5-yard line.
Well, they're all there in a huddle. And you see Brownie Nagel, what he has done in this game. He's had one crucial interception when he tried to force a pass inside the 1-yard line, and the Cardinals were an opportunity.
Personal foul against Wyoming. Dead ball. Personal foul against Louisville.
Well, that whitewashes the two offsetting penalties. That interception that Wyoming came up with on the Brownie Nagel pass probably at least stopped what appeared to be a sure three-pointer. And that's Rick Lance talking to the defense.
Now they're moving the football. If we had offsetting penalties, well, now they're going to take it back up.
We have dead ball, personal foul against Louisville, which would be half the distance to the goal penalty. We have dead ball, personal foul against Wyoming, which would be a 15-yard penalty in the first half.
Yeah, they marked them both off is what they did, I guess.
And Louisville gained 5 yards on the play.
Yep. Of course, one of the major rule changes this year, we hadn't talked about it, but I think it's been touched on in the media, is that kickers are not allowed to use a kicking tee for anything but a kickoff this year. Now, there's still some confusion, I think, David. Paul Roach is getting the explanation.
The officials conferring not only with the coaches, but also with themselves. With 1:56 remaining in the first half. Louisville scored the first 14 points of the game. Wyoming scored the next 14. That's where we sit right now here in Laramie. Gorgeous afternoon for the season opener of 1989. Are we ready to play football tonight?
Not, I'm going to take another train ride up to Durwood Ranch. Could have been there and back by now. Now the cowpokes here at War Memorial Stadium getting a little bit restless, as they say out here. Some very, very friendly people. We have just had a absolutely enjoyable stay here, and if you watched our pregame show, I think this series will continue in the future in both football and basketball.
They were setting the yard markers on the far side. Louisville will have a 1st and 5 from its own 25-yard line. So Browning Nagel sets them up. He has Broomfield to the near side. To the far side, it is Fred Jones. Latrell Ware, Darrell Gardner. Gardner has the pass thrown behind him, and the reason it was thrown behind him was because of number 92 for Wyoming, who really put some pressure on that time, and that was Craig Schliesting.
Yeah, we'll watch the pressure coming from big number 92, Browning Nagel. Here you see Gardner take a little bit of a fake. Now he is going to be the receiver, and there was some pressure, and that ball just thrown a little bit behind Carwell.
Yeah, actually had to throw it around that big lineman. 2nd and 5 now for Louisville from their own 25-yard line. Nowhere to run at all for Latrell Ware.
I tell you, both of these defenses have really played pretty well, because you've got some outstanding offensive talent on both sides of the football today. And sure, we scored 28 points, but the Cardinals' 2 scores came after, well, one after a turnover and one on a great play. And I think you got to give the Cowboys a lot of credit. They've made some big plays as well. So it's certainly been a tough battle, and I think we have a timeout.
Wyoming wants the timeout to preserve the time. Minute 38 remaining in the first half. And they want to get that football back in the final minute 38. 3rd down coming up for Louisville, 3rd and 7.
Coming up right around the homecoming time is the tailgate contest on October the 14th. The Cardinals will be taking on Southern Mississippi at Cardinal Stadium. And to register for that outstanding event, great prizes, call 502-588-7254. That's tailgate coming on October 14th. And don't forget that home opener in a few weeks, September 23rd, when West Virginia comes to town. And by the way, we might remind you one more time, people are standing by at this moment at the football complex to take your season ticket order. Visa or MasterCard, 502-588-6325. And that's that number and graphic. During normal business hours, you can call the athletic ticket office at 588-5151.
3rd and 7. Minute 38 to go, first half, tie game. Curtis Lipsy into the backfield, and he shifts into the slot. Nagel back to throw. He's got time. He's going long. He's looking for Broomfield, and it's incomplete. Broomfield arguing that he was interfered with, and he essentially had to play defense on that play because the man who had the perfect position to make the catch was the defensive back.
Now, there you see, watch the receiver become the defender. Matter of fact, he was already out of bounds, Cummings was, to come back in, and the official right there.
I would think that's what Broomfield was all upset about. Maybe he felt he was forced out of bounds by the defensive back.
1:32 left.
Klaus hits it high this time. Taking it to 36, slips. Nailed right there. His knee touched, so Wyoming will have it at the 37-yard line of the Cowboys. With a minute 21 remaining in the first half and a long way to go to try to take the lead here.
And Mel Mills, great coverage that time, number 56 for the University of Louisville. That's Paul Roach talking to his quarterback, Carranzos. Roach, a 1952 graduate of Black Hills State. He was an assistant coach at the University of North Dakota. Also in the NFL with Oakland, Green Bay, and Denver.
Shotgun formation.
Cowboys are tough at home.
Handoff. Crosses the line of scrimmage and gains maybe a yard before he slips down. The running back was Baina. Clock continues to run. Minute 10 to go in the first half. And the Cowboys line up very quickly on a 2nd and 9 from their own 38-yard line.
Secondary's giving them a lot of cushion this time.
Ooh, it's snapped. Carranzo stayed with it, however. Flag is down. Do we have holding? Pass is incomplete, and a flag was thrown up around the line of scrimmage, and that could indicate a holding penalty against Wyoming.
This is where an inexperienced quarterback really shows up.
Against Wyoming.
Okay.
Because they've not had the experience to be in these situations. And as a result, a little bit of movement. It was a high snap. Rontos did a good job just to bring it down.
Illegal motion. Wyoming declined. Be 3rd down.
You can tell the Cardinals elected not to take the penalty, instead the down. So it's 3rd down and 9 with 57 seconds to go in the half and a 14-all game. Cardinals have Joey Smith back about 15 yards off the football and will come with only a 3-man rush.
Carranzos back Right behind the center this time. Washington won the blitz. He stripped him of the football. It should be Louisville football. It should be Louisville. That ball came loose before Carranzos went down.
Well, they say they were blowing it dead. It's 4th down. I thought that. Let's watch the replay.
That's a bad
That's
call,
a loose
folks.
football.
That's a loose football.
That is a loose football. That should have been Louisville football right there. There is no question that replay showed it.
Super pursuit that time by Ted Washington. And he stripped the ball from Carranzo. And you can see it plain. Well, not on that replay because we're ready for the punt here. 20 seconds remaining in the first half, and he nails another one. My goodness, this sophomore is fantastic for Wyoming. Taken at the 20, has to get outside at the 25, and did not get outside to stop the clock with 8 seconds, and the clock will stop as they exchange offense for Louisville with 8 seconds remaining in the first half.
Let's look at it one more time. Watch Ted Washington, Dan Gangwar come in here. That football is loose. That should have been Louisville football. Matter of fact, we could even hear the whistle up here after that fumble. But it was ruled as dead, and that gave Wyoming really a big break because the Cardinals were certainly in field goal range right there. Now there's only 8 seconds remaining. Just a missed call.
Simple handoff here for the final 8 seconds of the first half, Howard. We'll find out momentarily. Nagel brings him up to the line of scrimmage. Everybody's in tight, so that's exactly what we anticipate, running out the final 8 seconds of this first half. As the Louisville Cardinals open the season here in Laramie, Wyoming by scoring 14 quick points against the Cowboys, only to see Wyoming come storming from behind. And we have played the first half of the season opener. Louisville 14, the Wyoming Cowboys 14, and we'll be back in Laramie after these messages.
Of Louisville football is sponsored by McDonald's of Kentuckiana, where it's always a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. By Pepsi-Cola Louisville Bottlers, makers of all Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, and 7-Up products. By the Cardinal Car Connection, Cross Motors, Bob Smith Chevrolet Geo, and Metro Louisville Ford dealers. By Kroger, see the difference. Go Kroger. By First National Bank, coming through for you. And by new Gulf Super Unleaded, another gasoline breakthrough from Gulf.
Look at him. He was my first. Today he's happy and healthy because he got a great start in lovely surroundings at Floyd Memorial Hospital. The doctors and hospital staff started working with me months before he was even born. I got to know the people who would be taking care of me and my baby. And when he was born, he was in warm, comfortable surroundings. After my delivery, they sent us home with gifts and newsletters that continue to provide valuable information for my baby at home. They call it New Beginning. We call it great.
Sure, I'll be in the meeting at 10. Tell him I'll get back in a minute. Where's that report? I filed that yesterday. Go to lunch, Rob. Okay, I'll work late. Gotta reschedule my meeting at the bank.
You do what it takes to get the job done. So should your banker. First National offers appointment banking at times outside regular business hours.
See you at the Brad at 7.
First National Bank.
Great.
Coming through for you.
You know, I've been telling you about Gross Diamond Fitters now for a long time. Because for me, it's the only place for jewelry. But now, here's a guy who's been a Gross Diamond Fitter shopper for even longer than me.
Yeah, I really have. The reason's simple. I get quality jewelry, and I know I'm saving money here, and that always makes me a winner.
So take it from both of us for fine quality.
And always lower prices.
You know it's Gross Diamond Fitters.
My dad says we've had better years. Mine too.
This past year, hard red wheat was a little harder to come by.
Here comes the throw!
But some folks believe in baking with only this special high-protein wheat because they know it takes a better wheat to make a better bun.
No, I gotta go do chores. It's always a bad year for those.
You see, when it comes to hamburger buns, one place has a lot riding on them. McDonald's.
14-all, the Cardinals and the Cowboys.
Hey, pass me the basketball because I'm going to be open. Browning, Nagel, can you see me down here? Hey, Browning, I'm right here. wide open for a 5-yard touchdown. Louisville scored for the first time this season. That made it 7-0.
And here's a great play by Carwell Gardner, and it was set up by the look to the left by Nagel.
Nagel finds a man who's playing offense for the first time in collegiate football. That is the man out of Trinity at fullback, Carwell Gardner, and he just flat runs over that man right there. And then somebody else comes up, just brushes him aside with the left hand. He was little puny defensive back anyway, and goes 50-some yards for the second touchdown of the season, 52 yards. First touchdown in collegiate football the man has ever scored.
That made it 14-0, and then Wyoming came back, and the guy that they've counted on so much, Dawson, takes it in from a yard out. A good drive here.
They finally got their offense moving, and Louisville's defense was on the field for quite a long time.
And it was tied up at 14-all, and give credit to great job by Carranzos just to get rid of that ball. Bobby Bear gambled a little bit there, Dave, and Wiggins went the distance untouched.
He's got excellent speed, tremendous quickness. For Wiggins goes 60 yards for the touchdown, and that tied the football game at 14-all, which is how we stand at halftime. And we've also seen a record performance in this game with a 90-yard punt by the Wyoming punter.
And you can see how even it is statistically. First downs just about even, rushing yardage very close, passing yardage, and total offense. That's been the kind of half it was, and I guess you look at those stats, you say, hey, it should be a tie game.
It should be 14-all, and it certainly is. Cowboys have many more penalties than the Louisville Cardinals do, but they have not been penalties that have hurt either team.
And, you know, Ron Steiner made an interesting point during our halftime interview that really we didn't mention in the first half because we can't see the sun directly, is the Cardinals receivers had a lot of trouble fielding punts because the sun was directly in their eyes. And you can see that beautiful shot of the high plains, that snow mountain out in this area of Laramie, Wyoming. And, you know, we gave you the keys to victory early in the game. Brought to you by McDonald's and Pepsi. The adjustment to the Cowboy pressure defense, I think the Cardinals have done a pretty good job of that. Quarterback leadership, I think Brownie Nagel's done a good job, considering this is his first start since 1986. Open field tackling got much better for the Cardinals throughout the course of the first half. And the momentum, well, you have to say that has continued up to this point because the Cardinals did take the early lead. Wyoming fought back. But Louisville was able to hang tough late in that first half, and it looked like the momentum was heading in the direction of the Cowboys. Howard Schnellenberger waits for the Cowboys to go by. I'd like to mention that Don Bensinger is having a large party watching the game tonight back in Louisville. Just a lot of great things happening around this telecast, and Dave, I know that had to be a very interesting and special situation for you to be in that locker room with Howard Schnellenberger and the team.
That was exciting. Especially for the season opener, and especially with this football team that has such high expectations as Browning Nagel warms up for the second half of action.
Well, Browning, you look at his numbers, Dave, 126 yards on 6 of 16, but that one INT, I think, indicated that he is playing for the first time since 86 of any consequence in terms of time, when he really tried to force a pass and wanted to throw it away when he could have thrown it out of the end zone, and it cost the Cardinals at least 3.
You have to take what's there. And many times, and especially when you're starting in your first game at the University of Louisville, you want to make it happen so badly that sometimes you make an error in judgment, and that was certainly the case there. Louisville was obviously in field goal range of Wilmsmeyer at that particular time, and I believe it was only a second down play. So you could have scored on the next opportunity from the line of scrimmage.
You know, they have the vintage cars here today. They have the Temptations in concert immediately following the game. We won't be able to see that because we'll be boarding our charter after we leave here and drive to Denver. Should be back in Louisville tonight sometime between 11 and 12. Howard Schnellenberger talking to his football team. Boy, just a great college environment here for football, and 2 fine teams. Of course, Louisville last year, we mentioned 8-3, won their last 6. By the way, the 5th longest winning streak in college football. Wyoming 10-2. They did end the season on a losing note when a guy by the name of Barry Sanders in Oklahoma State trounced them pretty good, to be honest, about the situation. But Paul Roach has built things here. He's recruiting talent. to fit his program. He's not changing his game plan for the talent. And Howard Schnellenberger now is doing the same thing at the University of Louisville. And I think that indicates when you really have your program in place where you don't recruit players and say, okay, now that we have you, we're going to change our system. You recruit players to fit what you're already doing. Well, the Cardinals will get the first opportunity to catch the football here in the second half. And a guy that has been outstanding, Dave, Sean Fleming, not only as a punter, but as a place kicker. You know, this guy wasn't even good enough to be the #1 punter a year ago. He was the place kicker, so that shows the ability they've had there. He kicks it high and very deep. Swabeck will take it about 8 yards deep and not even think about bringing it out. So the Cardinals will go on offense 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. And, Dave, I think we saw in the first half as well, late, where they started to use the running game very effectively. The Cardinals I'm speaking of, Browning Nagel, with some good drives. And I think that running game has been successful with Gardner. Even though the stats didn't show a lot of net yards gained, I think it did open up that passing game a little bit. Nagel brings them up to the line of scrimmage out of an I formation backfield. A 5-man front by the Cowboys. The sun shining brightly here at War Memorial Stadium. And this is Latrell Ware trying to cut it to the outside and has good yardage.
I have been waiting all game for that move by Latrell Ware. Now, we talked about the speed that Carwell Gardner has at fullback, but Latrell Ware is the fastest of the backs for the Louisville Cardinals. He's got 4.5 speed. When he gets outside, he can't turn it on, and he's a big kid. 18-yard gain, longest gain of this season for Latrell.
You see the nice job he did in changing the football to the outside hand as well. So it's 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. And this is Gardner fighting to try to get a yard or two. And there were all kinds of brown shirts around the senior out of Louisville Trinity High School. And leading the way was Craig Schickling, 6'5", 250-pound senior out of Spring Lake Park, Minnesota. Southern Mississippi leading Florida State, Dave, down in Tallahassee, 24-23. That's in the third quarter. Of course, Southern Miss, the homecoming opponent for the University of Louisville. I formation backfield, Cummings left. Broomfield to the right. Now they move to the split back. Nagel, a short drop, fires it out. Cummings looked like he had a chance to catch it, Dave, but didn't make much of an effort at it.
There was a safety blitz coming in that time, but Louisville picked it up well. And the man was open to catch the football. Browning Nagel just flat missed him.
There you see Howard Schnellenberger talking to Jeff Morrow and Browning Nagel. Ivory Samilton was on the coverage that time. It's a 14-all game just underway in the third quarter. Don Russell, Dave Conrad, live from War Memorial Stadium in Laramie, Wyoming. As you look from field level at junior quarterback Browning Nagel out of Largo, Florida, went to Pinellas Park High School that produced Deion Booker. Now Nagel sees the opening, he's going to run and stumbles forward for the first down close to the 50-yard line. And boy, that was a gutsy play by Browning because he has not been running the football and not accustomed to, but he saw the protection was beginning to break down. He saw the seam and he got the most of it.
The linebackers dropped off that time into their coverage, and that once he cleared the line of scrimmage, he had a good 10 yards to make his move.
And, of course, in college football, once you're down, you can't be hit. And he certainly did the smart thing by picking up the first down and then just going down to avoid any type of injury. So it's 1st and 10 up at the 49-yard line of the Louisville Cardinals. Nagel in trouble again. He's going to run once again inside the 40, 35, inside the 30, and finally bumped out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
That's the equalizer right there. If the coverage is good and if the penetration is strong by Wyoming, especially with the stunting, they pull along the line and those linebackers are dropping off. Browning just tucks the ball down and says, hey, I might as well run with this football, and he gets 30.
Yep. 30-yard run by Browning Nagel. He's an outstanding athlete, and you can see his ability there. And once again, we watched that nice run by the junior, getting the start today for the Cardinals in that big quarterback battle. It's down to the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 Cardinals. Let's see what we saw in the first half. Not much there. Tries to slide for a couple of tough yards, but this Wyoming defense, Dave, especially up front, certainly no cracks there at all defensively.
They're strong up front. That has not been the question mark of Wyoming's defense coming into the season. It was the secondary.
It was Schlichting again, the right tackle. He had some help from Steve Addison, the middle linebacker. A gain of 2, second down and 8 for Louisville. 13:09 remaining third quarter, 14-14. The Cardinals led at 14-zip, but the Cowpokes came back with a couple of scores in the first half to tie it up. Nagel flips it out to Gardner. He has room, and he is in for the touchdown.
Second touchdown of this game for Carwell Gardner, and Nagel read that perfectly. Nagel has made 3 straight outstanding decisions. The first 2 when he kept the football, tucked it in and ran. And this time he just waits for Gardner to clear the corner and then rifles it in there. And he got a nice block along the sideline for the last 5 yards.
Good job by the Cardinal offense. Nagel gets his 3rd touchdown pass of the game, and the Cardinals move in front 20-14. Ron Bell for the PAT. Out of the hold of Joey Crenshaw, and it is a Cardinal 21-14 lead with 12:53 remaining.
80-yard drive to start this second half by the Louisville Cardinals. That's impressive.
It is, and that's the story. Back to Laramie for more live Cardinal football in a moment.
They're coming at you. On the ground. In the air. The most dynamic college football team of '89. The Louisville Cardinals, coming at you with an explosive Cardinal Stadium schedule. Tickets are going fast, so call 588-5151 today. And then watch out, because the Cards are coming at you.
The Platte Valley Cattlemen's Association is having a meeting.
Looky here. Cattle futures are up the limit today, Grant.
They're American cattlemen,
I'm concerned with foreign competition.
and they raise the best beef in the world. That's important to the one company that insists on using nothing but 100% real American beef. Brought to you by some 100% real American.
Just hope the bull market continues.
The company? McDonald's.
When you look through the paper, you'd think every car dealer in town is ready to give you the deal of a lifetime. Low financing, no down payment, lowest prices, low monthly payments. All the incentives are here. But you can't always judge a good deal by just the incentives. At Bob Smith Chevrolet, first-time buyers can have a new Metro with cash back of $1,000 or 2.9% financing. A new Corsica with $1,000 cash back or financing of 2.9%. For the right price the first time and deals that aren't paper thin, Bob Smith's the one.
Let's take a look at this touchdown pass by Browning Nagel that put the Cardinals back up 21-14. He waits up for the fullback coming out of the backfield, far side to clear that corner, and then throws a perfect strike. And this man, 230 pounds, you do not want to get in Carwell Gardner's way. He was determined to score on that touchdown play from 18 yards out. Louisville takes a 21-14 advantage. And there's the man out of Trinity High School, played on defense at the University of Kentucky, came to Louisville and moved to offense.
Klaus Wilmsmeyer kicks this time, Dave, and it's a short one, and it's taken by Daffer, one of the up men, and he'll put some good field position up there for the Cowboys up to the 34-yard line.
There's the scoring drive, firing 7 plays, spanning 80 yards. Time of possession 2:07, capped off by the 18-yard touchdown pass from Nagel to Gardner. And that's what the Louisville coaching staff undoubtedly needed its offense to do, establish itself on the first series of the second half.
So the Cowboys trail by 7 and come up with a split backfield, and Carantos, a little play action, wide open across the middle is Gilmore, and he can fly. It is all the way down to the Cardinal 42-yard line. Joey Smith and John Gainey finally wrapped up Gilmore, and I tell you what, Carantos comes right back, Dave, with a 26-yard gainer through the air to Gilmore.
That's been their favorite pattern today. It's been wide open for most of today, in fact. Wiggins scored on the 60-yard touchdown on the same pattern that Gilmore runs here. Wide open. Louisville defensively is certainly going to have to adjust to that pattern.
There you see the particulars on Ted Gilmore. And a big first down, and the Cowpokes right on the move, right back at him. A little delay to Dwayne Jones. Now he is able to break free and still fights his way, and finally pulled down by
John Gainey and Joey Smith and company, but not before big Dwayne Jones. He's only 5'11", but about a 200-pounder, a senior out of Colorado Springs. And this guy was really running hard.
It's one of those plays that excites the crowd and his teammates. I mean, you're talking about some strong running and refusal to go down from out of that offensive backfield.
And getting up a little bit slowly is Deron Williams, the left end for the University of Louisville. There you look at Dwayne Jones, who has 12 yards now on a couple of carries. It's 2nd down and 2 after a pickup of 8 tough yards. Ball near the near hash. 21-14 Louisville, just under 12 minutes remaining third quarter. Carantos, that 3-step drop, fires it out to Dawson, who can't hang on to it. And one of the reasons why is because the Cardinals were right there defensively. I believe it was Ricky McFadden, the strong side safety, with a good defensive play.
Ricky really closed on the receiver that time, and he popped him. He wanted to remind him, not only are you not going to catch this football, but don't come back in this area again. He nailed him.
Kind of a warning when they get stopped for a traffic ticket, right? Except I don't get too many warnings. I don't know about you.
I think that was an audible that Carantos called at the line of scrimmage because Dawson moved up into that slot.
So now it's 3rd down and 2. That was almost a wasted down because, let's see, they can go on the ground to Jones. Jones trying to get outside, and he has the first down. 3 Cardinals had opportunities to get him. Finally, John Gainey ended up with the tackle, but it was Brian Hayes was the first guy that got there, and he just could not make the stop. And as a result, it looked like they were going to maintain that outside position and force him in, but they just didn't do it, Dave.
Dwayne Jones is running very well right now and running hard. And again, the previous time he ran to the left side, but this time he shows some super balance. He refuses to quit.
Gain of about 7 takes it down to the 26-yard line where it's 1st and 10. Cowboys, they trail by 7 to the Cardinals. Carantos in a little bit of trouble. Still in trouble, and finally is nailed down at the 27-yard line.
Good coverage on the left side of that defensive secondary because that's where he was looking initially. He wanted to find Gilmore or Wiggins down on the left-hand side, maybe in the end zone. But the defensive coverage, you can see him looking left, but the defensive coverage is so good at that particular point. Now he has to scramble, and Ted Washington finally catches him from behind, and that's the pursuit. It's very easy to give up at that stage if you're a defensive lineman when the quarterback's running all over the field. Ted did not.
2nd down and 10 as he did just about get back to the line of scrimmage. Carantos fires again. Gilmore, and he is knocked down immediately at the 23-yard line. That time Gilmore, Dave, had to spin around a little bit, actually come back to catch the football, and that disabled him to really get any open field opportunities here.
Ed Reynolds was there to make the stop on this play after the catch. It appeared that Gilmore wanted to reverse himself here and come back the other way, but he had no opportunity to do that.
Ball down to the 23-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 7 for the Cowboys. Dabby Dawson leaves along with Bina. It'll be Melvin Wells to the far right. To the near side is Gilmore, and the long setback is Jay Dapper. Carantos going to put it up top. Complete to Wood, the tight end, who fights forward and gets the first down.
Boy, he got sandwiched there between a couple of Louisville Cardinals who were trying to pop him, and that little bit of extra effort is what got the first down for that man.
Yeah, Gordy Woods had a good game, the tight end.
Protection is very good that time for Carantos. He knows exactly who his primary receiver is, and he goes to him immediately. Now, the Cardinals had 3 men on him right there, but that is the extra effort that got him the first down.
Mark Sander put quite a shot in his back after Gainey and McFadden were there. It's close enough to measure. I thought he had the first down, and they do. So it's 1st and 10 Cowboys. The Cowboys trail Louisville 21-14. We have just moved under the 10-minute mark in the third quarter. And now it's 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line of the University of Louisville. Cowboy Joe Day here today in War Memorial Stadium. Crowd of about 30,000 here on a beautiful sun-splashed afternoon. Temperature in the mid-70s. Practically no humidity. There's Dawson, gets away from one Cardinal and finally fights down to about the 11-yard line.
Cardinals had a chance to wrap up Dabby Dawson. Mark Sander, I think, made initial contact.
They've contained him so well today. The interior defensive line has keyed off of Dabby Dawson. Based on the performance, he had outstanding performance against Louisville in Cardinal Stadium a year ago. You always have to be aware of number 6. He's a game breaker. He can take it deep anytime.
Pat Fitzgerald, the linebacker, the junior, made the stop. Toronto's 10 of 21, 158 yards, and there's Benna trying to get some tough yardage. Steve Benna out of Omaha, Nebraska, 6'1", 205-pound senior, who missed most of last year with a foot injury, number 25, out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Picks up some tough yardage inside the 10, close to the 8-yard line, and it's going to be 3rd down and a short 4, almost 3, actually. And the Cowboys with a good drive to try to get back in an opportunity, Dave, to tie the game right back up.
Play action, I would expect right here. I would expect the fake handoff to Dawson. Maybe look for Dawson coming out of that backfield. Or a pass.
Unbalanced backfield behind Carantos. They're going to give it to Dawson, and Dawson does not get the first down. And now Paul Roach will be faced with a tough decision. Mike Flores made the stop on the talented Dabby Dawson.
It's a good read by Flores. He was just patient. He was just sitting there from his defensive right end position and saw the handoff to Dawson, and boom, nails him right now. Ted Washington on top, Flores on the bottom.
That's a big sandwich, isn't it? How'd you like to be the middle of that one?
Oh,
Hold the mail, right?
That's right.
It's going to be close enough for a measurement. Dawson has 28 yards on 10 carries. I think it's going to be a little bit short. They stretch out the chains, and it's about half a foot. 4th down, I would imagine Paul Roach will not even think about 3 here. He's probably going to go for it. Executive producer, Roy C. Hamlin, our producer today. Chris Hold DeMayo, Jerry the Bear Drury, our director, and the rest of our fine crew here in Laramie. Don Russell and Dave Conrad, glad to have you along, and the Cowpokes are going to go for it. 4th and inches at the 6-yard line. Louisville leading 21-14. Carantos on a sneak, and I believe he has the first down. He needed to get it with that second effort because, Dave, the initial charge was not there for him.
Andrew Higgs was trying to stack it up from his defensive position, but Carantos, and you see the offensive line surge. Higgs is there, Flores is there, but nevertheless, they managed to grind out a 1st and goal at the Louisville 5.
This has been an outstanding drive by the Cowboys after Louisville and that 14-14 tie, able to come back and take a 21-14 lead on a pass from Browning Nagel to Cardwell Gardner. Now it's 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Dabby Dawson, touchdown, Cowboys.
The blocking at the point of attack resulted in a relatively easy 5-yard touchdown run by Dabby Dawson. Coming on the left side of the offensive line, attacking the right side of Louisville's defensive line, and it appeared that they had double-teamed Ted Washington on that play. They got a trap on the outside, and that opened it wide open.
Dawson knows where the end zone is. The extra point is up and true by Sean Fleming. And we have a new ball game, 21-21. The Cardinals and the Cowboys, 7-3-0. 3rd quarter time, and we'll be back to more Cardinal football live from Laramie in just a moment.
We're slashing prices on every car in stock at Price Break Headquarters. Cross Pontiac Jeep Eagle. We've cut our low sale prices even lower on Eagle Premier. Choose from over 25 in stock. Prices start at just $12,989. Pontiac Sunbird with air, now only $79.95. Or Pontiac Grand Am, just $89.95. For the biggest year-end discounts come to Price Break Headquarters. Cross Pontiac Jeep Eagle.
LAGS salutes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'd like to add just one footnote to my career.
For many of us, a savings plan is something we'll do someday when we get a few dollars ahead. And tomorrow is a favorite day to start. From passbook accounts to certificates to IRAs to tax-deferred programs, Great Financial Federal can help you get the jump on tomorrow. But you'll need to start today. You see, tomorrow never arrives on time. And when you're not prepared, it's always early. We're Great Financial Federal, your key to financial security.
The fever's mounting as U of L Sports heats up for another battle-packed season on WHAS TV. You'll see the kicks, the tricks, the dives. So if you want U of L Sports this season, turn on the action. U of L Sports on WHAS TV.
Wyoming Cowboys continuing to persevere and come from behind against Louisville. The Cardinals scored the first 14 points of the game. Wyoming came back. Louisville scored to open the second half, and Wyoming has come back to tie it again. Swabek takes it about 3 yards deep. He's going to bring it out and gets it to about the 20, maybe the 21-yard line. Boy, that was a gutsy play by Craig to bring it out of there. All he needed to do was get past the man who knocked him down because there was room to tightrope along the sideline. Cowboys capping off the 66-yard scoring drive in 12 plays with a 5-yard run by Debbie Dawson. And that chewed up 5 minutes and 23 seconds of this third quarter. Well, we started this shootout at high noon here in the West. And it's approaching 10 minutes after 2 Mountain Time, and we're right back where we started from, knotted up, 21 all. Brownie Nagel will split back, 2 wide receivers. It's going to be a sweep to Gardner. And Gardner got some pretty good yardage because he stumbled from the beginning, Dave, and was able to get his feet and take it up to about the 23, maybe the 24-yard line. Good blocking at the point of attack. Darrell Harris in pursuit. He is number 12, and he is the man who finally brings down Carwell Gardner. The only man who could after those excellent blocks thrown by the pulling offensive line. Gain of 3, second down and 7 for the Cardinals from the 23-yard line. Gardner has 9 carries for 30 yards. And Terrell Ware 6 for 21. It's been tough on the ground today for both teams. Dingy defense. Oh, he's Fortune. Oh, he was wide open at the 40, and Brownie Nagel knew it. Good play action, a perfect call, Dave. And I tell you what, Fortune was wide open, and Brownie Nagel just, again, didn't quite have that touch. You see the quick drop there. Not the 5, 6, or 7, or 8 foot drop that time. And Chad Fortune coming straight up the middle from the tight end position is open to make the catch. And Chad Fortune, despite the fact he's the tight end and weighs 235, has excellent speed to take it deep on you. Now a big third down play for Brownie Nagel and the Louisville Cardinals. 5-man front by the Cowboys. Nagel looking in trouble, fumbles it, and wisely just falls on the football. He was trying to get away from that pressure, Dave, and forgot something very precious, that pigskin, and very alertly fell on the football because he didn't want to try to pick that up and lose it again. Talk about your heart going up in your throat about right now. I think the ball was slapped away from him right there. He was carrying it low to begin with, and fortunately, he recovered the football. Let's see, number 49, does he get a piece of the ball right there? Yes. No, I'm not too sure now on that replay, but Browning fortunately covered the football. Klaus Wimsmeyer gets a high, booming kick away. Wow. He nailed that. He did, taken back at the 19-yard line. Uh-oh. Good return. And flag goes down, but not before it was a great return by the Cowboys, and the guy that got the job done is a very talented wide receiver, Tim Myra, number 83. We have a clip on this play. Is that the reason for the flag against Wyoming? We'll check it out. Klaus that time nailed that football on the punt, as you see the call, and essentially outkicked the coverage. So that will back the Cowpokes up in their own territory after a good return by Maurer. That'll back them up to about, rather than put the ball to rest at about the 14-yard line. Howard Snellenberger. Boy, what a beautiful day. I mean, the weather out here, Dave, yesterday and today has just been incredible as you look at the final score. Southern Mississippi, a major upset at Florida State, 30-26. I believe that game might have been played in Gainesville this year, but still a home crowd, you know, for the Seminoles. A major upset. West Virginia, 35-10 over Ball State.
That was a 59-yard punt by Wilmsmeyer. That's a career high for him. Tried to get it to Davy Dawson. Carantos did that time, and it falls incomplete.
You see what Wyoming is attempting with Dawson coming out of the backfield. Louisville has contained him very, very well out of the backfield with the football. So what Wyoming is trying to do is isolate him coming out of the backfield, and you already have the excellent wide receivers in Ted Gilmore with blazing speed, and Wiggins, who's already scored from 60 yards out. They're just clearing out along the sidelines, and then Dawson's trying to sneak out there and make his move.
21 all our score, 5 minutes 47. Third quarter here in Laramie. Carantos, quarterback draw in a big hole immediately, and he gets to the 22-yard line.
Ooh, was he sandwiched?
Well, he was. There was a huge opening immediately, and then the Cardinals recovered defensively.
Sander was there to knock him down, and that was called play. That was a straight quarterback draw. Mark Sander chasing, and Pat Fitzgerald.
Carantos and Paul Roach and probably the coaches upstairs saw something. Pretty good gain out to about the 22-yard line, so it's 3rd and short. 3rd down and 2. Carantos out of the pocket. He is dangerous in this situation. It's a great block. And finally gets the first down at the 30, and Davy Dawson, who does it all, was the guy, Dave, that sprung him loose with that outstanding block.
Without Dawson. Now, Dan Gangwer was coming up the middle, putting some pressure on. Carantos has to go outside. Without Davy Dawson's block here on Pat Fitzgerald, it is a 4th down and...
Those are the little things that a senior like Dawson will do that makes Wyoming a championship football team. We see it from a different angle. And there's the block on Fitzgerald by Davy Dawson. So that keeps the drive alive and moves it up to the 30-yard line. And the Cowboys trying to take the lead for the first time today. Carantos tight end, and it's good for about 5 more. Good coverage by Bobby Bear, Mark Sander, and a couple of other Cardinals, Reggie Johnson in the area.
Wyoming has gone a lot today to its tight end. And speaking of tight ends, has Chad Fortune caught a pass today?
He has not. He has not. There's one of the guys missing on the offensive line is Chris Glasper. He's here today, but in a different role up on the film deck in the end zone. We'll talk about that a little bit later. 2nd and 5, and it's a completion across the middle to Sean Wiggins, who already has a touchdown in this game, and it's another Cowboy first down.
Did the quarterback thread the needle on this one? Look at Pat Fitzgerald, number 47, running right with him. That ball is thrown perfectly. There is not much you can do about that when the quarterback throws the ball that well right on the money.
Yeah, and a linebacker covering the speedy Wiggins, Fitzgerald, who did a good job, as you mentioned, Dave, but you just can't put it any better than that in that slot out of that pass formation, and it was just a perfect reception.
Need a turnover here. Louisville's defense has been out on the field for a long time.
Carantos now 12 of 24 for 169 yards through the air. Now we have an infraction before the play ever gets underway. It's going to be a delay of game against the Cowboys. So instead of 1st and 10, it'll be 1st and 15. As they'll move it back to about the 36-yard line, and that's where the Cowboys will put it into play.
Well, that can be considered a turnover. Let's see if the Cardinals can take advantage of it.
Bobby Bear comes out of the Cardinals secondary, and Ricky McFadden is now in at strong safety. Two receivers to the near side, a slot to the right, a lone running back is Davy Dawson. Toronto, pressure. And it's tipped away by Big Ted Washington. Big number 99 in the white got his paw up there and just slapped it away. And Carantos that time was, he might be a Cowboy, but he was surrounded by a bunch of Indians, but they were Cardinals.
Front four that time for Louisville really put the pressure on Carantos. Washington was the man who touched the football. Higgs was in there. Gangwer was in there. I mean, they got some real good pressure on him that time.
By the way, we were talking about Gordy Wood. He has 4 catches today for 47 yards.
21-21, Louisville and Wyoming with 3:16 remaining in the third. You see the unity with the holding hands in the defensive huddle. And now we have another delay in the action, and now they finally put it into play, so the Cowboys have 25 seconds to get this snap off. Greg Brown is wide to the right, a slot to the right. Wells comes to the near side, and they give it up the middle. Davey Dawson looking for room, and he has plenty of it as he takes it to the 48-yard line before Reggie Johnson, the junior out of Chicago, Illinois, Morgan Park High School, knocks him down. It's not enough for the first down, but a good run by Davey Dawson.
And John Gainey had to come up and also hit him right around the knees in order to bring him down, and this is the most that he's gained from the line of scrimmage, I believe, in this game. And then he's drilled by Reggie.
Dawson 41 yards, officially 45, they say, on 12 carries. And it's third down and about 3. And Carantos is going up top, tried to get it to the tight end Wood again, but threw it behind him, and Mark Sander was there, step for step.
And the Cardinals had a stun on of their own that time defensively. They were bringing on a blitz, the outside linebacker straight up the middle. But again, what makes it so difficult to get to the quarterback, Carantos, is that quick drop, the short drop.
And you mentioned the fact, Dave, that 5-yard play of game did hurt the cause because they ended up now, it's 4th and 3. Fleming kicks it almost straight up in the air, wobbly, one of the few poor kicks he's had today. Gets the benefit of a semi-friendly bounce, and it goes out of bounds at the 26, and that's where the Cardinals will have the ball on offense when we come back to Laramie, Wyoming. It's 21-all, the Cards and the Cowboys. Back with more in a moment.
Telling you about Gross Diamond Fitters now for a long time. Because for me, it's the only place for jewelry. But now, here's a guy who's been a Gross Diamond Fitter shopper for even longer than me.
Yeah, I really have. The reason? Simple. I get quality jewelry, and I know I'm saving money here, and that always makes me...
So take it from both of us for fine quality.
And always lower prices.
You know it's Gross Diamond Fitters.
Hello, I'm Bob Babbage, your state auditor. You have the right to demand that your tax dollars be properly spent. If you have evidence or have good reason to suspect government waste, mismanagement, or fraud, you can fight back. Please call my toll-free waste line from 8 to 4:30 weekdays. The number is 800-KY-ALERT. That's 800-KY-ALERT. Each call will be confidential and carefully investigated. Together, we can ensure integrity in government.
That graphic tells the story. 1st and 10 Louisville from the 26-yard line, and Brownie Nagel hands it off in the backfield to Latrell Ware, and I mean there is absolutely nothing there. Make that Craig Swabeck the ball carrier. But regardless, there was just no room to roam here in the High Plains that time. Good defensive job by the Wyoming Cowboys. Of course, there's a young man missing from the Cardinal offensive lineup. That's him there, Chris Glasper. Of course, discovered he had a total kidney failure, and he's waiting for a donor. He's on the national donor list.
Over to pick him up. Never would have been there on time, but the pass was 3 yards off target.
3rd and 12 now for the Cardinals, and to finish that story, of course, Chris now handling the video work for the Cardinal football program. He's the official spokesman for the National Kidney Foundation of Kentucky. What a fine young man. Can't play football anymore. He would have been an all-pro probably someday, but he's a part of the program. Nagel looking for Swabeck and can't get it in the hands of Craig at the 30-yard line, and the Cowboy defense gets the job done. It's 4th down and 12, and with 1:38 to go,
In the third quarter, a 21-all game. The crowd appreciates the good D, Dave.
I'd mentioned on the previous series how much that 5-yard penalty hurt against Wyoming because it had ultimately pushed them into a punting situation. That first down running loss by Louisville resulted in the same thing for the Cardinals.
Wilmsmeyer gets the kick away, and it's another good one. Myra backs up and finally takes it at the 20.
Good coverage.
Great coverage that time as he's knocked down at the 28-yard line, and the Cowboys will go on the offense.
Funneled him that time right into the middle of the field.
You know, Dave, this has been a case where two very solid football teams have been battling it out toe-to-toe, and the Cardinals have had the advantage pretty much most of the game. They've never trailed, but the Cowboys have been playing well enough to hang right in there, and they've just been struggling to get that momentum, but the Cardinal defense just won't allow that to happen. From the 28-yard line, where they'll mark it down, and Davy Dawson, who's been held pretty much in check, gets a couple of tough yards. Pat Fitzgerald was the guy that got there first. Pat had 102 tackles last year, along with an interception, and he wraps up the elusive Davy Dawson. Dawson is a guy, Dave, that, as we mentioned, along with Peter Gunn, you talk about a 1-2 punch, and they expect to have Gunn back in action next week when they play at Air Force, and that'll give them some type of 1-2 tandem in the Cowboy backfield. 4-man front by the Cardinals defensively.
Washington right up the middle. They got him.
Big Ted wraps him up. Boy, you spotted that when you had the glasses on it, Dave, and I tell you what, Ted Washington pretty much got through there untouched that time.
He had that quick step. As soon as that ball was snapped, Ted was a-coming, and he is one big fellow to try to hold out there. He just brushes right past the offensive guard, and he is on top of Carranzos right now.
Lost back to the 23-yard line, so that now sets up a 3rd down and 17 as we watch Washington with that good pursuit once again.
This is a chess game between the two defenses right now.
This will be the final play of the third quarter. Benna in motion. Montes. Short drop. Flips it upfield for Wood, and it's incomplete. Knocked down by Derek Hawthorne.
Super play by Derek. He saw the ball. If you're a defensive back, you have got to respond to the ball as soon as it leaves the quarterback hands. And Hawthorne is playing deep. He's playing in the middle. And he says, as soon as Carranzos lets it fly, he flies on the football and says, that's my football. I'm going for it. Nice play. That's the end of the third quarter.
And it's 21-21 Cardinals and the Cowboys. 15 minutes of exciting football left. Don't you dare go away. We'll be right back.
They're coming at you. On the ground. In the air. The most dynamic college football team of '89. The Louisville Cardinals. Coming at you with an explosive Cardinal Stadium schedule. Tickets are going fast, so call 588-5151 today. And then watch out, because the Cards are coming at you.
For many of us, a savings plan is something we'll do someday when we get a few dollars ahead. And tomorrow is a favorite day to start. From passbook accounts to certificates to IRAs to tax-deferred programs, Great Financial Federal can help you get the jump on tomorrow. But you'll need to start today. You see, tomorrow never arrives on time. And when you're not prepared, it's always early. We're Great Financial Federal, your key to financial security.
The rabbits around here don't like Jack Bryan.
It's looking real good.
Jack's got farmers picking his lettuce early.
Never got it on sweet.
Though he regrets the inconvenience to some. Fact is, early lettuce is sweeter lettuce.
You won't find any better lettuce.
And for the company Jack buys for, that's the only lettuce that's good enough. So while not everyone buys Jack's approach, Jack knows he's buying better lettuce from McDonald's.
Former Jefferson County Police Chief Butch Helm.
Dave Armstrong claims he brought the murder rate down 57%. Come on. When's the last time you saw a lawyer prevent a murder? Armstrong's commercial claiming credit for something he had little to do with is ridiculous. Armstrong released 17 men indicted for murder, drugs, and assaults. Some had even confessed. After their release, these men committed 52 more crimes. And those are the facts.
Back live in Wyoming as we await the punt coming up by the Cowboys as we start the final quarter of the season opener. And we're tied 21-all. It's been a well-played game.
It has been. Clement gets this kick away, a wobbly one. Swabeck comes up and fields it, and I think his knee touched it to 41, so that's where he'll end up.
Lost 10, 15 yards on that.
Because he caught it on the dead run, Dave, and had a little bit of room because it was not a long kick at all. Just a moment ago, you saw and see one of about 200 or 300 Cardinal fans that are here in Wyoming. A good following all the way out here, about 1,245 miles, we understand the drive was for some people. So it's 1st and 10 Louisville, 21-all. We're just underway in the fourth quarter. Cardinals have it. The 41-yard line, 1st down and 10 out of the I formation. Latrell Ware, the ball carrier.
Well, he's got strong legs. That defensive line didn't give very much. Good pursuit that time, but Latrell was hit right around the line of scrimmage and got a good 2 yards.
Ware is 6'1", 212 pounds, and a junior. Out of Ferguson, Missouri, 66 attempts, 227 yards, but he did score 3 touchdowns last year. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8 for Browning, Nagel, Howard Schnellenberger, and the Louisville Cardinals. 21-all our score. Now mix up in the backfield, so Nagel's going to hang on to it and pick up a tough yard.
That was a counterplay intended for Latrell Ware that time. And the timing, obviously, was just a wee bit off. Louisville got a break that time because they at least did not lose any yardage.
Yeah, there's a chance right there where it could be a fumble.
Easily, and Nagel has the presence of mind just to keep the football under those circumstances.
Ware checks out of the game. Lipsy is in, dotting that I formation backfield. You see Nagel get all he can. Nagel's the leading rusher in the game with 50 yards on 5 carries, but he's going to try to go upstairs here, runs out of the pocket. Finally flips it complete to Gardner, and Gardner's still fighting, and the tough guy is finally pushed out of bounds at about the 48, but he's going to be about 3 yards shy of that 1st down marker.
You know, that was a super play under the circumstances by Browning Nagel, however, because he wanted to go to Carwell. He wasn't open initially. He wasn't open the second time, and Browning was patient enough not to try to force it, but just wait until the man cleared the defender. Came up short of the 1st down, but it was a smart play by Browning Nagel.
Wilmsmeyer takes the snap, gets the kick away, booms it. Meyer takes it at the 12. Uh-oh, it's Gilmore, and he has some running room, and Wilmsmeyer finally gets a piece of him at the 38-yard line. And I tell you what, Gilmore found that seam right now, and I mean, he scooted through there and just about broke that one all the way.
Difficult to find the handle initially, but once he picked the ball up, you can see the speed this man has, and Klaus is the last resort for the Cardinals.
Good return, and I think as we watch it one more time, the Cardinals let up just a bit when he didn't catch the football when he fumbled it, and that really gave Gilmore that seam.
He's one dangerous man with a football.
So the Cowboys and the Cardinals, 21-21, 13-20 left in this shootout here in Laramie. And Davy Dawson has been getting a lot more work and fights his way across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. And now it appears as if the Cowboys are going to go to the guy that gained nearly 1,200 yards last year, Davy Dawson.
Mark Sander in on the tackle, number 48. You see him reach in there right underneath the ankle, and then who else flew in there for the Louisville Cardinals? Number 99, Ted Washington.
Gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. The ball at the 42-yard line of the Cowboys. Only one setback, and that's Dawson. And he gets the ball and is wrapped up immediately. Brian Hayes.
He would not let him get away. Brian was well inside the line of scrimmage and was just waiting for the man with the football. It's kind of like what was the great defensive lineman that said, I just look at everybody and I pick up the man with the ball and brush everybody else aside? Was it Bubba that said that? I just tackle everybody until I find the man with the football, and that's what Hayes did on that play.
Watch the sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois, who's really been pushing for starting position, and you can see there Brian Hayes. 3rd down and 7, no gain. Toronto's through the air to his favorite receiver today, Wood, and I believe he has the first down. Gordy Wood, one of the best in the Western Athletic Conference. He had a couple of touchdown receptions a year ago. He can really go after that football, and he made a nice catch and a key first down.
Puts a lot of pressure on your defense, too, when you have such outstanding wide receivers, as do the Cowboys, because you have to give up something else. You cannot double-team the tight end. And he has been his favorite target today, and he has found a way to find that seam in the Louisville defense.
Reggie Johnson had pretty good coverage that time, but it was an excellent pass by Tom Carantos. And he's going to try to go for it all right here, looking for Gilmore, and Gilmore almost comes up with a circus catch.
Good play by Blackford.
It sure was. William Blackford, the sophomore out of Buffalo.
He was with him all the way, step for step. But then Gilmore almost came up with a circus catch, didn't he?
He did. He has great hands, great speed, but give Blackford a lot of credit.
Blackford almost had the interception. Gilmore momentarily had to turn defense in order to prevent the interception. The ball pops up in the air here. For a moment, I thought Gilmore was going to be able to grab that.
Was that great catch Lynn Swan made? I believe it was in the Super Bowl. After the ball was tipped like that against the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to try the near side this time, and not much room. A couple of tough yards.
Blackford again. Now Blackford on the previous play is all the way down the field, 40 or 50 yards down the field, trying to cover the speedy wide receiver. This time he has to come up and stop the run.
Dwayne Jones was the ball carrier.
I mean, this is hard work for a defensive back. The previous play, you're 50 yards down the field. This time you have to come up there when you see that handoff and just explode in there and make the tackle on the fullback.
Just moved under the 11-minute mark in this football game. It's 21 Louisville, 21 Wyoming. Don Russell, Dave Conrad, live from War Memorial Stadium. In the beautiful high plains of Wyoming, Wyoming. Here's that quarterback draw again. Not much this time, and also a penalty marker in the middle of the play.
That defense